Happy Monday morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great one so far. Hope your weekend was good. I had a great one. Hope all the mothers out there, Amy, you included.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I hope you had a great Mother's Day.
Yep.
And everybody out there to celebrate the best people in the history of the world, and that is moms. So I hope everybody took care of theirs and others, as well as I cooked a dinner for not only my wife, who is a mother 4 times over, but for her mother, too, Aim.
That's the kind of giving person that you are.
Yeah, it is. And last night, unlike the last time I cooked dinner, when she took a bite, she said, "This is really good."
Restaurant quality, right?
That's what she said. This could be on it, yeah. The last time I served something, she said, so-so.
Oh, she said so-so, or her actions said so-so?
No. She came right out and said so-so.
That's tough.
I was like, "Ma, how do you like the meatballs?" I tried something a little different. She's like, what'd you do differently? I said, well, chef doesn't say what he did differently,
Right.
you know. And she said, oh, they're so-so.
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 A verbal so-so.
Yes, Ray Dunn, producing today. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Coming off of a marvelous weekend for you, as we cannot applaud Ray enough
Thank you. I
for his
appreciate
play-by-play of the Union on Saturday night. What a great call you made. And I was sitting there with a smile on my face on my couch. Honest to God. Had, I think, a basketball game on, whatever.
Yes.
Had you on my phone. And you were outstanding, man. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because you know I'm a ball buster through and through, but I thought you were absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And that will be the last time we bring that up, because I do notice you are getting a little big-headed. So we will we'll let that one go. But so-so would be how you described probably the Phillies game yesterday. But you know what? Before we dive deeper into all that, we got to look at the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Man, you can tell it's a downtime of the sports year when you're really trying to struggle to come up with some front page headlines, but we got some for you. The Phillies indeed did lose 7-6 in 10 innings to the Miami Marlins. They are now 20-5 in their last 25 games, 13-3 in their last 16. So complaints, we have very few. Zach Wheeler, though, wasn't very good yesterday. 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts. Had a lot of trouble finding the strike zone. I don't know if you guys were watching the game yesterday, listening to the announcers, but there was a stat out there that was crazy. In the 300-plus innings that he's pitched to JT Realmuto, his ERA is like 2-something. In the 30 innings that he had pitched to Stubbs, his ERA was over 5.
Yeah.
So that's a little alarming. I don't want to put those two together, but Realmuto was out yesterday with, what was his injury, Aim? I never did hear what it was. I saw he got hit on the mask the other night, and he was a little shaken by that.
That happened before. I didn't see if there's anything that they noted.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I think it was his
The
knee.
knee.
Oh, they did say a knee. I'm sorry. They did say a knee yesterday. Yeah, so Stubbs was in there. Garrett Stubbs in there yesterday for JT Realmuto. Nick Castellanos opens the game up with a 3-run home run, gets the Phillies a quick 3-0 lead that they could not hold. Bryson Stott went 2 for 2. His average is up to 270 because of this. He's gone 7 for his last 13, swinging a really hot bat. He was at 235 before this streak, now up to 270. Got to love the early season when you get a little hot streak, how much the batting average can go up. Good news, the bullpen went 5 innings, gave up just 2 hits, no earned runs, and 7 strikeouts. Now, a lot of people were bitching that Sosa got put into the game. And Ray learned me something today. I'm looking up the line, looking at the box score, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess there is no earned run for a reliever when he comes in and they put a guy on second base. So he did not get an earned run on that yesterday. Gives up a walk, then gives up the base hit. Phillies lose in 10 innings. Kind of a weird schedule going on where tonight they're at the New York Mets for a 7:10 start. Christopher Sanchez will be on the mound. Tomorrow afternoon, up in New York, they go at 1:10. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the Mets and the Phillies both come back here, and they'll play a 2-game series here. So they play the Mets 4 times in a row, split evenly home and away. Wednesday starts an 8-game homestand before they go on a kind of a small West Coast trip. I think it's only like Colorado and San Francisco. I don't think it's a real long trip, but a small one there. So another not great team, 500 team in the Mets for 4 games.
Big win last night for the Mets.
Big win last night for the Mets, yes, against the Atlanta Braves, who remain, I believe, 2 games behind your Philadelphia Phillies. The Eagles' NFL schedule comes out on Wednesday, and for as much teasing as the morning show does about it, particularly John Kincade, he loves to see the schedule come out. He says he doesn't like to do W&Ls, but if you listen close enough while the season's going on, he does W&Ls like 3 times a week. So we have that coming up on Wednesday. I love it. It's cool. Brian Westbrook, as Andrew alludes to this a lot, and I appreciate it, I think it was my first show that I had on here middays, we had Brian Westbrook on. And I asked him specifically, I said, Brian, how do the bad thoughts come back to a team, or can they just flush it? And he says, oh, no. If you start early on and you're not playing well, those bad thoughts from last year come back immediately. So it is incumbent upon the Eagles to get out to a good start. We found out that the first game of the NFL season is going to be the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs on that Thursday night. And then the Eagles follow on Friday night playing in, where are they again? Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. Aim, that's a cool thing to me. Like a 6 o'clock Friday night NFL game when?
Old school.
Yeah, like it's still going to be warm out.
Yeah.
My pool is still going to be open. The big screen's going out back.
Exactly.
I've never watched an Eagles sitting in a swimming pool before. I'm not, well enough off to be vacationing during the Eagles season, so I know you've probably been floating in the Mediterranean or something watching an Eagles game before, but I have not, so I'm looking really forward to that. I even invited Ray Dunn.
You did?
He said no after. He said
That
yes at
doesn't sound
first,
right.
and then the other night he said, "Oh, I think I have to spend some time with Sebastian Letou or something." I don't know what he's.
Well,
doing,
he's big
but
time now.
He is, yeah. So he's going to be hanging with the soccer players. I think him and Bedoya have something going on, and Jim Curtin's throwing a party. So.
You're just going to keep dropping names.
Oh,
in
it's
here.
not. It's not going to end today.
It's going to be amazing.
Nationally, the Pacers tied the series with the Knicks at 2-2. It's weird, and I'm going to get into this segment actually. All the injuries that are going on in the NBA. Like, they're kind of following the Sixers pattern, but they're still in the second round, and somebody's going to come out of that series. The Denver Nuggets, such a crazy series this is. They tied it at 2-2 with the Timberwolves, as each team has now won 2 games on the other's court. Rory McIlroy wins for the 4th time in Charlotte, for those who follow golf a little bit out there. I say this more because it's an overlook at sports. Why are some things kind of just like... Why is Rory McIlroy beating everyone down at this course in Charlotte? You can say, oh,
Quail
the course.
Hollow?
Yeah, Quail Hollow. Like, oh, this course is made for him. And I'm sorry. I think it's more of as much a mental thing as it is a physical thing.
Do you?
I equate sports to that. Yeah. He even said, he goes, I don't know. Charlotte's like my second home, I guess. Like, well, why is he won 4 times there? It's not like he's playing against me and you. I mean, it was a pretty crowded field there. But that leads into the PGA is this weekend. So that's in Louisville, Kentucky. Valhalla, right?
Valhalla, yeah.
Nice. Bronny James has been medically cleared. So if he is so choosing to be picked in the NBA draft, he has been medically cleared to do so. We know Andrew is a big proponent of the Sixers taking him so that his father will follow. So all that, whole lot more going on today, but that's your front page as it goes. So would you do that? Bronny James, if it's guaranteed LeBron?
If it's guaranteed, absolutely.
Yeah, right? I don't think it's even a question.
I mean,
I don't care that Bronny James might suck as an NBA player.
Yeah,
No.
Listen, there's no one on this Sixers roster right now. They need people. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's spot 14, 15. That's for you, Bronny.
Yeah. Your dad's going to be like...
He's going to be like 2
play
or
38
3
a game. Yeah.
In the lineup, and you'll be 14. But either way, thanks for coming.
Yeah, 16th pick for LeBron James. I think I'd do that even at 40 years old.
I mean,
because as we said, he's in the longest prime of anyone in sports.
It's the longest prime I've ever seen for anyone. And you could say Tom Brady, this guy's extended it.
Do you think
the wear and tear that he's shown?
Do you think Father Time is afraid of LeBron James?
I think they battle one-on-one all the time, and so far LeBron has won.
LeBron's kicking his ass.
It's unbelievable.
All right, first question I want to throw out there today to you, Aim, and to anybody else that wants to chime in, 610-632-0975. Has the NBA playoffs made you feel as though the Sixers aren't that far away or not even close? I ask it because we're watching teams whose stars. I'm watching Boston yesterday. Porzingis is out. he's going to be out for a little while longer. Yet they're still throwing out a Jason Tatum, a Drew Holiday, and all of those guys and having a good time of it against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I'm looking at a New York team who was battered against the Sixers. They were going 7 deep, and then their 7th guy got hurt. So they were going 6 deep against the Sixers, yet took care of them in 5. Now you have Jalen Brunson is kind of gimpy, and DiVincenzo took a hard fall the other night. And they're missing guys. Yeah, and guys are out. And you just look around, and everywhere people are holding shoulders and grabbing knees and limping up and down the floor. That being said, you know, we often talk about Joel Embiid and all that. Does it make you think that because when he's a little bit dinged up, no chance they win without him, but yet these other teams are kind of getting it done without their stars or their stars at 70, 80%?
Yeah, and I think that's it, 70 or 80%. And I think that's what we saw with Embiid. He was at probably 70 or 80% at times during that Knicks series. But it does, you pose that question, and my first thought is like, no. But then I really thought about it and was like, yeah, it does actually give me some thought that they are not that far away because of how everything else is. And maybe it's just this year that it's shaking out like this with these injuries where players are out for extended periods of time. If not, you look at the Heat. The Heat are, we don't have to worry about the Heat until it's playoff time. Well, if you don't have Jimmy Butler, you do have to worry about them because they're not going to get there.
Right.
I think the loss of OG Anunoby has been a real difference maker, and obviously Jalen Brunson being banged up, that's not a very deep team. Then they don't have Julius Randle and haven't had him since February, so it's like, they're running out of people to score actual points.
They are.
You're running out of humans. So it's showing in that regard. And then the teams that have somewhat healthy stars, even if they're a little bit banged up, those are the teams that are rising to the top. That you mentioned that Timberwolves Nuggets that series, I can't figure it out.
No,
it's crazy, which I love, but it's like buzzer beaters and winning on other people's courts, and it's to me that one's a hard one to figure out. But if you go with all the other series, I think it's shown that the Sixers aren't that far away, but they still need the help, right? Like they still need the people.
Yeah, well, and people's not what they have right now.
Nope.
You look at this roster, and anytime Joel Embiid's hurt, look how poorly they played this year when he was out. I couldn't believe that you missed him for 2 months. You get into the playoffs, and probably the biggest disadvantage the Sixers had in that series was when he was off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
How did you not figure something out when he was off the floor for 2 months?
At any point. Not even for not even a game, not even for 5 minutes, you didn't figure it out.
Yeah.
They were so lost. It's like they were so banking on him coming back that when he went out, it was like, well, what do we do now?
And it wasn't like it's a horrible – you're not putting out there like, process players when he's not there.
Legitimate NBA
players.
Yeah,
you still had Maxey. You still had Oubre. You still have Tobias Harris. You still have legit NBA players out there that played far below 500 ball. So I guess my bigger question is, no matter who you get in here, and look, they only have 2 players under contract and that are really going to get minutes, and Maxey's not even under contract yet, but he will be. I don't want to say does it matter who you get in here, but has that thought crossed your mind about look at all the players they've brought in here with Embiid, and it hasn't gotten done? You can look at the 17 different prominent players they brought in, or you can look at Joel Embiid and say, like, what gives here? Is so much being put into this team when he's on the floor that when you take him out, it can't get done?
So do you think it's a style of play? Because they do run the offense almost exclusively through Embiid when he's in. So is it just a matter of switching gears when he's off? Because you can't run that offense with whomever they've got. You're not going to find a backup that you can insert for Joel Embiid that plays like Joel Embiid.
No.
He's a unicorn. It's completely different. So is that the answer? Is the answer that not necessarily Joel Embiid, but the style of play with which you have him operating that offense? Because it is such a different dynamic. Paul Reed cannot run it. Like, there is no one. There is no one in the NBA that can run the offense the way Joel Embiid does because he's a very unique player, right? You're looking at a couple different guys. So do you go completely opposite and just think, all right, we go old school center. We just got a guy that's just going to be down there. He only operates in the 5 feet and in. That's it. And how hard is it for the other guys around them to be like, okay, whoop, now record scratch. No Joel. Let's go back to plan B. So that, to me, that's really more of the question is you have to change so much of how you play. And is that does that mean you have to change it with Embiid then too?
Yeah, and it's more than just the scoring. All right, look at what the Knicks did. They lost Julius Randle, who was averaging 25 points a game, man. 25 points. And you're not talking like you have, oh, well, they have LeBron James or they have, this and that who could pick it up. They're dealing with guys who grew this season as NBA players after Julius Randle went down. I just have never, or I don't see that with the Sixers at all with Joel Embiid. Have players come here and gotten better? J.J. Redick jumps to mind.
Right.
But most players that they brought in here, and you can go as deep as the Alec Burks of the world and stuff like that, that people that they brought in here, the Buddy Hields, and you say, okay, yeah, this is going to be better. They don't play better here.
Yeah, you wonder if it is the scheme, if it is you're basing to. It's hard because it's such a double-edged sword. It's hard not to base your offense off an MVP, off a guy that plays the way that he does and the style that he does and the domination that he shows. But at the same time, is that detrimental to the rest of your team because you know you're going to be without him. Even if he stays healthy, he's not going to play 40 minutes, right?
Right.
So, he's a 35, 36-minute guy. So you're always going to have 12, 13 minutes that you don't have him out there on the court. So it's like, what are we doing? Is it the style of play? I mean, you mentioned the Knicks, and I think that's a good parallel because they had guys that saw the step up. I think this is really so glaring, and I hate to pile on, but it glares mostly because of Tobias Harris. I think that's the most glaring reason behind it, because if Tobias Harris even played to his average, you wouldn't have as big a drop-off. You'd still have a drop-off, but it wouldn't be as glaring.
No, I agree with you. It kind of has stuck out to me this playoff series in the NBA, that when you see a Jalen Brunson have to go back to the locker room, when you see an Anunoby off the court, when you look at other teams and you see star players having to leave for something. I'm not saying there's not a drop-off because you're missing a key piece, but there's an uptick to their play. There is not a noticeable difference when that player isn't out there. That doesn't happen in Philadelphia. And maybe it's because he's one of the top 3 players in the league. And I'm sure there's people rolling their eyes right now saying, well, if Denver lost Jokic, I'm sure you'd see a fall off there.
You see a fall off, but you don't see not off a cliff.
Yeah, not to the likes of playing 400 basketball.
Yeah, and I think that there's a good parallel there because Jamal Murray, very good player. Tyrese Maxey, very good player. I think there's some parallels there. They figured out. They also have Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, and these are guys, talk about getting better. Aaron Gordon, always a good player. Michael Porter, the only question with him was his back and some of his injuries. They've shined in that role. They've really taken that next step of being a solid contributor on a winning championship team. I think that's a big difference. When Aaron Gordon was in Orlando, great player, flashy, athletic, you knew all that. Could he be on a winning basketball team and contribute in a winning form with other stars? The answer is clearly yes. He bought into whatever they were selling, and they've won a championship. And I think Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter are a big reason behind that.
Yeah, and it's amazing yesterday. You're looking at bench people to pick things up because, with Joel Embiid out, that's what you're looking at. I turned on that Indiana Pacers game yesterday. Well, actually, no, I told you how this went down.
Yeah.
I was cooking dinner. My mother-in-law was there. She's a huge Phillies fan. So the TV in the family room right there, she was watching the Phillies. I didn't want to put on the Knicks and the Pacers. I didn't want to interrupt her. So I put the play-by-play on my phone. And every damn play had this one player's name there.
Ridiculous.
And it's T.J. McConnell. And it's like, basket by T.J., steal by T.J., foul by T.J. McConnell, foul drawn by T.J. McConnell. And it's like, wow, I do. I keep going back to it. I'm not saying him particularly, but to get that kind of a boost off the bench and a guy that you say, go cover Jalen Brunson and just annoy the crap out of him. I almost cursed. And, he just doesn't. Don't shake your head at me like a parent, Ray, okay? I'm having a conversation with my friend Amy here, and I almost, got, like we were outside.
You didn't. I'm very proud of you for not doing that.
Thank you. So in 21 minutes yesterday, he goes for 15 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, commits 4 fouls, which is okay. You're all right with that because he's covering Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, get those fouls.
Yeah, so just thought it was interesting yesterday that he was doing that and kind of brought all this to my mind as we were talking about it. I want to congratulate you, Amy.
Thank you.
In that you were very prominent. Should I say very prominent? You made an appearance, let's say.
Okay.
On our bloopers show
my
on
first
Friday.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you listen by any chance? Do you ever listen to us when you're
I
not
always
here?
listen to you guys.
Okay. Yeah, so we had you on for your Europeans, well, whatever, however you said it. So
Throw
that
an
was
extra
good.
L in there.
Yeah, but
We're 20 minutes into the first show of the week, and I've already got Bob for this Friday. So
That's right.
looking forward to that
The
one.
two of you,
1:30 on
seriously?
Friday. Yeah.
I mean, it's factual.
the two of you. Okay. All right, we get back. There's probably no one in this world I want to turn into a little bit more than John Kincade. Like, there's just no chance. No parts of it. He and I are total opposites, and I couldn't be prouder of that. There is one thing that he keeps dialing in on that it grades me, and he knows it. I've told it to him since we were working together. It grades me that he complains about this person. But I did have a little kind of hint of like a little bit of frustration over the weekend with this person. I'll let you know who that is. Amy's here with us until 2 o'clock, which we love and adore. And Ray Dunn producing. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. Hey, welcome back. Middays. Bob Cooney. We got Amy Fadul with us today, which is always our ray of sunshine.
Thank you so much.
And we have our Ray and Ray Dunn producing today. Aim, they're playing little drums from Born to Run. Are you one of the few sports figures in town that, media members, I should say, that is not a Springsteen fan?
I'm not a Springsteen. I appreciate him, but I'm not. I feel like there's a large contingent of media folk.
It is funny. It's weird.
Obsessed. And that goes back. I was in Baltimore, and my sports director there, obsessed.
Really?
Yeah.
What's obsessed?
Like, has to go travel to see him, wants to listen to him all the time, like, goes and listen, the man is a showman. He puts on a show, and it's like 3 hours long with no interruptions. But I'm like, all right, I like Springsteen, okay.
Yeah, because...
But I'm not like, I have to, if he's going to the garden, I have to, like, go up to the garden.
No. Now, we have gone up to New York a couple times only because it worked out. You know, like friends were going, you want to go, we got extra tickets. We're like, yeah, It's a Friday afternoon, we'll take a ride up,
That's
whatever.
Different.
My mother-in-law, we were talking about it yesterday, so he's coming here, and this has nothing to do with being a Springsteen fan. He's coming here twice in the summer. So we're taking all of our kids one
Citizens
night.
Bank Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're taking all of our kids one night, all 4 kids, and I think some of their boyfriends, girlfriends are coming too. So we wanted to do that with our kids. We wanted to share. It's one thing that my wife and I do together that we've done through the years that we just enjoy. We like going to see him play. So we're taking all of our kids one night on the Wednesday, and then on the Friday we're just going alone, but we're meeting up with all of our
You're going
friends
to both
there.
Springsteen concerts.
We are, but it's not like, we have posters up or anything like that. Like, I just enjoy listening.
You're a grown man. I don't think you have posters. in your room.
Yeah, I just enjoy listening to the music. My point isn't of being a Springsteen fan or not. That's neither here nor there. If you are great, if you aren't great, I don't judge a person by what kind of songs they like. Like yesterday, I was playing. I listen to music. That's like music runs my life.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, I was listening to the Joshua Tree from U2 while I was cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. But I was wondering, what is obsession? Because whether it's sports, whether it's because my mother-in-law, she's like, oh, you're going to both shows, and of course gives that mother-in-law look of disapproval that she doesn't even know she gives, but she does give quite often anymore. So especially to me, but like obsession, you probably never knew I was a Springsteen fan. How many times have I brought up like Springsteen to
Maybe
you?
once.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So while I like going to his shows and I listen to his music often and I do keep an eye on what he's doing, he played 3 hours and 30 minutes the other night in Ireland and 31 songs. That's pretty impressive for a 74-year-old. I don't care whether you're a fan or not. It doesn't matter. But what is obsession? Like, are we obsessed with certain things in this city when it comes to sports teams? And this is the reason I'll give it to you. Before I get to the way that it hurts coming out. The way that I'm kind of the same with John Kincade on this one subject.
Yeah, this is tough for you to say.
Anyway.
It's tough.
I think our obsession when we talk about the Sixers is injury. I think our obsession right now when it comes to the Eagles is somewhat the coaching of Nick Sirianni. I think our obsession when it comes to the Phillies, there is none. I don't think there's an obsession with the Phillies right now, and they might be the best team in this city.
I think you're taking obsession as a negative. You've pointed out or questioning, I should say. Questioning the injuries is a negative type of connotation. Questioning Nick Sirianni has a negative.
All right, give me a positive obsession that we have.
Positive obsession. Red October is a positive obsession. We're obsessed with Red October.
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
This city is an amazing sports town, one of the best I've ever been in anywhere, any shape or form. Red October here is one of the greatest times of anywhere I've ever been.
That is a great one, Aim.
We love Red October here. Think about how much this town gets behind it. We love the Eagles Super Bowl run. That's so much fun. Red October takes over the entire town. They become obsessed with it.
It's so funny you said it because I've brought this up many times that the fact that 2 years ago, national media, Kirkjian and all the others, national baseball people coming in here and saying, oh, my God, this place is nuts.
It's insane.
For them to casually be saying after being there for a couple of playoff games and a couple of series that there's no place like Citizens Bank Park when it comes to playoff baseball.
Think about it. I was down at those games. We're leaving. They're playing, the song, the Callum Scott version of Robin's song, and it's like everybody's singing it. Everybody's high-fiving each other. There was that the clip last year where they took out the announcers and the Marlins pitchers on the mound. Bryson Stott is at the dish. He's getting ready to hit the grand slam.
Right.
Everybody in the entire place is singing his song. It's A-OK. Like, it's amazing. It's my favorite thing. We are obsessed with Red October here.
That is a really good one. Ray, can you think of anything that you think this town, it doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be bad, it could be both, it could be neither, whatever. But can you think of something sports-wise that this town is obsessed with?
The second round of the NBA playoffs.
Oh, yes.
Very good. Is that a negative obsession or a positive?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some people have narrowed their focus on the 76ers, not what it takes to compete for a championship, but what it takes to get out of the second round of the NBA playoffs.
That's all we're looking for.
It's a sad, sad reality. The people out here right now are like, well, what could they have done to get out of the second? No, I don't want to just get out of the second round. I want to win a title.
Yeah.
The idea that someday, like, they get out of the second round and it's like the sea parts and this is just a beautiful day in Philadelphia. So, no, the Eastern Conference Finals probably starts 2-3 days from there, and they have to go win that series, and then they have to win another series. That's what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
We get so obsessed with this ceiling of this team. It drives me crazy because these offseason conversations we start to get into, some of the teams we start comparing ourselves to, I don't want to be them. I want to be the one with the Larry O'Brien by the end of this.
So that's the question I want to put out to everybody. Do you have an obsession in sports? Or you can give us the outlook of what you think this city is about. God, I love how this city is obsessed with blank. I hate that this city is obsessed with blank. I'm obsessed with something. I'll give you one of mine, and John Kincade would know this better than anybody because I talked about it so often when we were on the morning show together. I was obsessed with Caitlin Clark in college. And no, it wasn't just like this past year when everybody came on board. He'll tell you, it was 2.5 years ago that I said to him, I'm like, there's this girl that plays for Iowa that it might be the best player in all of college basketball. Mm-hmm. And I would look up their schedule, see if they were on TV. I was obsessed with watching her play. What's your obsession when it comes to sports? We'd love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. Jerome in Elkins Park. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Jerome?
Good morning, Bob. Amy.
How you doing, buddy?
Let me get the obsession out of the way.
All right.
I don't think it was it. Obsession is the fact that I would hope that the 76ers finally get sometime before, the next decade starts again. They get a so-called 3-and-D player. And what I want to jump to is this. Daryl Morey, and I will agree with the fact, he pointed to what position is the most important that they're looking for. And my thing is, it's two ways possibly of him going for a max player type of thing and eliminate the money that he created, or getting a combination of players. And what you and Amy said prior really generated this phone call. It's the fact that you look at, say, a Dallas who has, had Kyrie and Luka, and they were able to get two players, a forward essentially and a backup center, and put the area that they needed, rebounding, defense, and then provide, points if possible. You look at, say, and Amy spoke about this earlier, the thing that the general manager, when he took and looked and said, I've got the best passing big man in the entire league. I've got a two-guard. Now I need to get balance. So I get a shooter in one Porter, and I get Aaron, and you have this system go on, and then you fill in the blanks. I'm going to stop now because it's a conversation. But what this thing always is, no matter what sport it is, if you have a general team, I'm talking like maybe one spot that you need and you already have a bench, and there's one player that's out there who can throw you over the top, that's good. But we're at this point now where we need essentially almost a new whole team.
Yeah, when you only have two guys under roster. Jerome, thanks so much. When you only have two guys under contract, which they will soon when they sign Tyrese Maxey, yeah, it's kind of wide open.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point because the question that used to be, they only need one guy. Oh, we need a 3-and-D guy. Oh, we just need a shooter to kind of balance it out. No, now you need everybody.
You do, and maybe this is the best opportunity that they've had, meaning the Sixers organization, to build around Joel Embiid because it's out of necessity.
Yeah,
it's not like, I don't know. We talk about fit and just building best players. I mean, maybe you don't have the luxury of picking one right now.
Well, I mean, I think you have somewhat of the luxury as far as like picking fit versus, best player. You're going to need at least one of those. You have a little bit of wiggle room on that, but you have two max spots, right? So one max spot goes to Tyrese Maxey. You have another max spot. Do you choose to put that all on one player? Do you choose to parse it up?
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions, and this is why this is such an important offseason, not just for the Sixers, and I feel like they say that every year, but really for Daryl Morey and that front office. They really had – this is when you earn your keep.
So I brought up before the obsession talk, and if you want to talk about your obsession or maybe what gets on your nerves that people are obsessed about, however you want to do it, 610-632-0975. But just a tinge of it this weekend, a tinge. Maybe let's see if you have like a 20-pound turkey on Thanksgiving, and I'm just taking a little piece of the skin. Okay, that's all it is.
Okay, just
all
a little teeny bit. Just a taste.
I just want Rob Thompson to put a lineup out there and kind of stick with it a little bit more.
He's got some injuries going on.
There's some injuries going on, I know, but like when I don't see Brandon Marsh out in the lineup for 2 out of the 3 games because there's lefties and stuff, can we just grow him as a left fielder, please? Can we just?
Does the analytics bother you on that?
Well, that's what it comes down to, so I guess that's what it has to be,
It's okay.
right?
You can be. Some
Yes,
people
I don't like
That's
analytics.
fine. That's fine. You cannot like analytics in this instance.
Yeah.
Do you like that analytics have some part in sports?
I understand it. Like it's like, who put it to me? Shoot, I forget. It's a longtime basketball guy. I forget who it was. Oh, it was John Nash, actually. Oh. So John Nash, who used to be GM of the Sixers way back in the day or whatever, he calls me, a few months ago during the season. He goes, yeah, you know when analytics started? He goes, when I was a little kid playing, they started keeping rebounds and assists. Guess what? That's what analytics is, when you go further and further. But, look, Brandon Marsh, I'm sorry, he needs to be in. I want him in that lineup. Please, can we watch the kid grow?
I think there is a fine line. Analytics have a place. They have a real purpose, and I think that they serve purposes if you use them in a way that is smart. You still have to use your eye test, right? You still have to go out and use the feel for the game. And I feel like Topper has done a good job of kind of managing both of those. Now, there are times where maybe he leans on it too much. You saw that in this Marlins series where you didn't see Brandon Marsh, and then Spencer Turnbull goes out after, 19 pitches or something. You're thinking, oh, okay, well, did the analytics say he shouldn't come back out? Because I feel like I just saw him, and I feel like he looked good. Looked good to my eyeball, so why is he coming, why is he leaving? So I think that there's kind of a marriage between the two. I think that the most successful teams walk that line in a really significant way, and I think you've seen the Phillies walk that line. But I hear you, let's get him out there. I don't care if it's a lefty-righty type of thing. Let's watch him play.
I cringe when Bryson Stott's not in the lineup. And I know you can't play him every day, but if he's out 2 out of 7 days, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Especially
as
the
versatile player that he is.
Yeah.
You put him anywhere, and they have.
And Christian Pache's been hitting the ball a little bit lately, but I don't know why. I'm not a fan of Christian Pache. No, I'm not.
Not a Pache.
No, I'm not. No. Why do you need 2 of those guys on a roster? You already have one 178 hitter that's an outstanding fielder. Do you have to have 2 of them? Do you really need 2 of them, Aim? I don't think you do. I want to remind you, though, that the 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. All right, when we get back, I want to hear more from you. What are you obsessed with in this city, or what obsession drives you nuts or makes you very happy in this city? I've given you a couple of mine. Amy and Ray are going to give you a couple more of theirs if they have any. And maybe it's not sports. Maybe you're obsessed with something else. But if you are, you can tell us that. But we need some sports conversation, too. 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Happy Monday morning, everybody out there in the Delaware Valley and beyond, as we begin a week full of fun sports, as Amy Fadul joins us today. Took a look at our YouTube page, Amy. Thank you to all our YouTubers. You guys know how much we love and appreciate you. A couple of funny comments on there. One person said, our obsession? Yeah, we're obsessed with mediocre players. I think that's more of a shot at organizations, and I think maybe the Sixers organization was who he was referring to. And then, Ray, there was a YouTuber out there that was feeling bad for you. Ray Knickerbocker. They said, sorry that the Knicks have lost their last 2 games, and they hope that you're okay. But also great comments on here about your play-by-play on Saturday night, talking about what a great job you did with that Union game. That was pretty cool. It was funny. Somebody came up to Ray this morning and was saying, having to pronounce all those names, too, that's not easy. Yeah. And some wise guy said, yeah, but who would know if you were stating them wrong? The other team, we're talking about the Orlando team. I agree. Like, if he mispronounced an Orlando name, I didn't know who the hell it was. I do know all the Union names.
There would be people that would know.
Yeah,
there would people. They would let me know. I'm sure of it.
You didn't get any negative feedback from Saturday, did you?
If no one tagged me in anything negative, I'll be honest.
Good.
My notifications and everything were off during the game. I appreciate you texting me during the game. I was trying to focus on the whole game
thing.
thing.
Just being a snob.
Yeah,
right.
but people didn't say it to my face if it was negative. So that's a win for me. I'm okay. If you did not enjoy it, I appreciate you not throwing that in my face.
I think they enjoyed the call. I don't think they enjoyed the result. Now, I don't know how much we can blame Ray for the 3-2 loss that the Union suffered.
We can find a way.
At
the
Subaru
penalty
Park.
kick might be on you.
Yeah,
it could be. There's some things,
that was
maybe
tough.
But his goal call was phenomenal.
It was
terrific.
Fire up the dupes. I like it.
I couldn't. I'm not kidding you. I couldn't wait for a goal to be scored, just so I could
you got
hear
it early.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You got it early. That's right.
We
the
did
one
get it
thing.
early.
Wanted to get off to a quick start, and they did get the 1-0 lead.
And he very much correctly understated when Orlando FC scored a goal.
Yes.
And that hits the back.
Well done.
Yeah, it hurt.
I give you an A++. Honest to God, I thought you were absolutely terrific. Okay, we're talking about obsessions today. What obsesses you in sports? What drives you crazy when somebody else is obsessed with something in sports? And I'll give you one of mine. This is what drives me crazy. I don't know why people, maybe it's because the way society is now, about, you have to be on one side or the other. It can't be, let me sit back. I see some good in this and I see some good in that. It can't be that way. You have to be all in on one side and all out on the other. That's just the way it is. Why are people obsessed with hating LeBron James?
Yeah, that's always been very confusing to me. And I feel like it's a personal attack. They don't like him personally. That's even stranger to me.
It's even stranger because, sorry, you don't know him personally. I understand if some of his views or he says some things that gets on your, okay. But in my world, when people are talking about LeBron James, we're talking about the basketball player. And he may be the second best player of your lifetime if you're including Michael Jordan. That's pretty damn good. But people are obsessed with trying to hate. I saw one of the YouTubers on here say, why are they talking about LeBron James? This team is already old, and he's cooked anyway. He's cooked?
The man has averaged 25 points every single year of his career. Every single year. 25 points.
I just saw an elimination game. For his team, yes, his team got eliminated. I saw an elimination game. He had 33 points and 11 assists and 1 turnover.
Yeah, my favorite is when people call him LaFraud. They point out how many finals he's lost. I'm like, well, he's been in them.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
Me neither. I don't know, and that's why I love having these conversations because I don't know.
People don't like him.
You can tell me, and you may change my mind. I don't know, but what's an obsession that you love, that bothers you, that other people have, that this city has? Anything about obsession is kind of what our theme, taken from Tyrone. It's the word of the day, the obsession part of it. And Ray, you said we had a pretty good comment about, was it the Rob Thompson thing?
I had a comment.
I
had a response to you.
Better.
Yeah, that was more me just knowing we had to get moving and get to the next segment here. But I can't believe that you're starting to go the Kincade route on Rob Thompson.
Please don't say
that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Sounds like you're right there with Johnny the K on this.
That's why I brought up the analytics, because I feel like that was a little...
Yeah, no, I'm shocked on this one. I can't believe...
I love Rob Thompson.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Stop.
It doesn't feel like it on this one.
I just want to see the same lineup more often. That's all.
Okay.
I'm not upset.
So,
I am not upset.
Let me play a game with you that you'd like to play, Bob.
Aw.
If you were putting together a lineup, would you put in the lineup someone that over the last 2 weeks was hitting 143? or over the last month hitting 206 against the type of pitcher they struggle against?
Well, you have to tell me who it is.
It's gonna be,
It's going to be Brandon Marsh.
it's gonna be Brandon Marsh.
Yes, I'm sorry. He's my
Okay.
everyday left fielder. I want him to figure out left. So I guess my smidgen
Tiny.
of angst is brought on by I want to see him hit against left-handers. I want him in the lineup almost every day. Yes, I want to see him grow as a player that way. This team is good enough to overcome him going 206 against a pitcher that he's about to face. I want him to figure that out because it's only been a year of play here in the National League against said pitcher.
Yes, and that year that he played at full in the National League, he was 229 against lefties. Like, ultimately, when you look at him, I know we think the world of the guy. I enjoy watching him play.
Yes.
I think this organization is telling you a lot because even since they've brought him in here, they have not grown to really believe that he can hit left-handers. And even this year against left-handers, in the small sample size you have, because you're right, they have platooned him, he's hitting 133 against lefties.
I'm okay. He's 25-year-old. You've said he's your left fielder. I'm letting him go. That's just me. And look, I'm not going to die on this hill. I agree with so many things Rob Thompson does. Kincade and I battled it all the time. He disagreed with pulling pitchers and stuff. He was looking to win an inning in playoff baseball.
Right.
I didn't mind that at all.
Right.
And many, many times more than not, the outcome came out the way he had planned it in his head. Although it was like off-level thinking, it worked. So, Ray, I don't mean to work you up on this.
No, it's
I love
okay.
Rob Thompson. Great that you pointed that out. I'm wrong. I'll take it. I'm wrong. Rob Thompson's right.
You can still
I'm wrong.
want. You can
No,
still
you can
want him
still
to
believe
play.
the way you
No.
want.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
You can still want him to play more.
I do. I love Rob Thompson, but I find myself now looking at and going, oh my God, what is this today? Like too much, too often for my like if it's 3 times a week instead of 2. It's not a big deal, but it's just a little thing that's
All right.
starting to. But I think I hate when you disapprove of me, Ray. I just don't like it.
I
All
just,
right,
you know, he's not pulling Ohtani out of the lineup here. He's pulling Brandon Marsh out of the lineup.
okay. I love Brandon Marsh.
I love Brandon
I don't know
Marsh,
why you
too.
hate him. What do
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
why he hates
Seems
Brandon
like
Marsh?
you're a little
Shane?
harsh on him.
I
Yeah,
know,
it's
my
crazy.
gosh.
Because
Harsh on
last
Marsh.
week when we were talking about some of the favorite people to
Yes,
watch,
we all-
and
we all-
I
yeah.
said
Christian
Brandon Marsh.
Marsh.
Pasha. He wants Christian. He wants an outfield of Christian Pasha and Johan Rojas.
Well, hey, your boy Witt's got to find at bats. You got to get your right-handed bat, Whit Merrifield.
I mean,
out
you
there.
paid him $8 million. You got to get him some at
Yeah,
bats.
listen, you want your boy
You're running
Witt
out
out
of
there.
room, though.
Yeah. Well, you got your shortstop's open. You put him at,
Yeah,
whatever.
put him at short.
You don't put him at short.
I didn't say you put him at short. I said shortstop's open. You put him at, I was going to say second, and you put Stott at short, but
Yeah.
whatever.
11 o'clock
The
hour coming
two
up
of
here.
you- Yeah, 11 o'clock hour's coming up. When we get back, I want to talk to you. I heard more than a few times this weekend. Oh, Eagles definitely up there in the NFC talk of battling for the title. Great. I hope so. I think that offense can do it. What in the holy hell are we looking at when it comes to this defense, though? I want to ask you a question on trust on the defense. Also, obsession is the word of the day. We want to hear, what are you obsessed about? 610-632-0975. Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. 11 o'clock here on Midday Shows. Good to see Ricky Pitalico so early in the morning game.
Always nice. Always a good way to start the day.
He has many faces. Well, we just saw a couple of them as we were speaking.
Puzzled face, confused face, excited face.
He totally agreeing face, because he totally agrees with me that the lineup is tinkered a little bit too much. So that's
say
cool.
anything like that.
He
but
didn't?
You did have a,
he wanted to say
he
it.
Did. He probably thought it, and you just read his mind.
He was thinking
he thought it.
He wasn't thinking that.
No, he wasn't.
You know, you get one union game and one union game.
It's so unlike me to become fixated on one point that we have during the show and unload on it for a few moments. Yeah, that's very, very unique of what I do here.
I know. That is what it is. Okay, some of the talk that I heard this weekend, it wasn't just this station. There was different things being bantered about the Philadelphia Eagles. Could have been among friends, could have been among strangers, could have been both. And it was the undeniable thought of, they're right there. They probably will win the NFC this year and get to a Super Bowl, or at least compete for it. And I was like, their offense is really good. That offense is one that I say, you know what? That's an offense that I would ride into a Super Bowl or into an NFC title contending type of offense.
Yeah, on paper for sure.
Yeah. What do you? And I'm asking you this honestly, Aim. What do you feel good about when it comes to the Eagles' defense?
There's only
and
one,
I'm not being.
Yeah, there's
I'm
only
really
one thing
not.
I feel good about.
Go ahead.
The coordinator. Because they tried for the longest time to try to get the copycat version of whatever Vic Fangio runs, and now they've got the original. That's the only reason you have, because the pieces aren't that dissimilar than last year, right? You solidified, I thought, some of the secondary linebacking, still some questions back there, no surprise. It's a day that ends in Y. And then the front, you lost Fletcher Cox, but I feel like, okay, well, you're looking for Jalen Carter and all those guys to take the next step, right? Jalen Carter hit the rookie wall. You need Nolan Smith to come into his own. You need Nakobe Dean to turn out to the player we thought he was going to be. All right, that's all. We said that last year. All those things are the same as last year. There's only one difference. And if you want to know why some people might feel some confidence, it's going to be because of the architect of this new defense is the guy that drew up the plan, and everybody else tried to, work off of the carbon copy of it. Now they've got the OG.
All right, let's go through it a little bit here, okay?
Right.
Let's go through this defense. You went with the defensive coordinator that's been around the league for a long time.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I heard somebody, you sit in this chair in the mornings, that said he's one of the top 5 defensive coordinators of all time.
I don't know that that's true.
I don't even think, look, I could put 3 defensive coordinators here in Philadelphia immediately ahead of Vic Fangio. But anyway, we'll see what he has to work with going forward. And before I get to going down this, let's get Mike from Delran, who wants to talk about Vic Fangio. Mike, you're on 97.5. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Great. How
Mike?
you doing?
Good, Amy. I hope you had a good Mother's Day yesterday.
Thank you, sir. I did.
Mike, I got to ask you, did you take care of your wife yesterday?
So, Bob, I took care of my wife all day, all weekend, right? I made sure she had a great time. And then she told me last night, she goes, you've been such a good sport. Why don't you go over to the casino and play some cards?
Of course
See,
she
that's
did.
it.
I swear to God, it always comes back to you.
And I was like, that seems like a trap, you know? But she said, go. So I went. And,
Dope.
And listen, what I forgot was my birthday was the weekend before, so my license expired. So I filled it out, but I hadn't get the new license back. But the wife knew that. So they wouldn't let me play. So I got home. And she goes, maybe next time you'll get your license renewed before your birthday. I went, you tricked me.
Why do you need a license to gamble?
If you win, you need to be
You have
able
to register.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, my fault.
See,
Okay,
so
I'm not a
anyway, she
gambler,
knew
so I
that.
didn't
So
know that.
anyway,
The
long
sub-story
short,
is that Mike wins.
She dogged
She
you.
tricked me.
Yeah.
She tricked me, Bob.
Yeah.
I'm a winner all the time.
I love it.
I'm a winner, life winner.
We'll give you that.
Anyway, sorry, I digress. I'm excited about Vic Fangio. I don't know. Bob, you said 3? I mean, I know I can think of 1. But
Bud Carson, Jimmy Johnson.
Johnson was
yeah.
my head.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson.
Bud Carson was up there too. And then, God, who was the third? I did have another. Oh, Buddy Ryan, if you want to call that a defensive coordinator. Yeah.
No, I feel good about him. I feel good about all our coordinators, but on the defensive side, and I really feel good about those 2 corners, Bob. I know it's hard to get that, get that hyped up about rookies and stuff, but something about it. I just really, really look forward to seeing them guys on the field. So I feel good about it. Bob, real quick, can I give a quick shameless plug real quick?
Sure, why not?
If anybody's bored on Saturday night at 8 o'clock at the Curio Theater in West Philly, I'm a headline a comedy show. I'm doing 30 minutes up on stage. If anybody's got anything they want to do, it's $10 a piece. come on out and heckle me if you want. Let's see if you're good at it. Go Birds!
Thanks,
Go Birds.
Mike. Appreciate it. Did you ever see the clip of Mike on stage?
I think you showed it to me a while ago.
I did. I think I
Yes,
did. Yeah.
Yes. It's good
And,
stuff. Yeah, really
he's
good stuff.
And one of his bits was about his wife messing with him, similar to what she did the other night. So I don't know who the funnier of that twosome is. Might actually be Mike's wife. Okay, so let's go down the Eagles' defense right now because I'm talking about confidence and where do you have it. I've been talking all this morning about obsession, and we'd still love to hear from you. 610-632-0975. I think some of my obsession this weekend was, wow, people, like, how can you give this Eagles defense a pass? Okay, Vic Fangio, that's exciting, good. You got who you wanted after all these years. You've had imitations before. Okay, good. I'm not over the edge, Vic Fangio.
Right.
Yeah, I know the name. That's cool. If I see something that I don't like I don't like that it's always, he doesn't like to get after the quarterback. Like, he doesn't like
And
the
no blitz.
blitz and that. So let's go down the roster on this defense as currently listed, the depth chart on ourlads.com of your Philadelphia Eagles defense. And you tell me
Great
the
site.
confidence level you have in this. Milton Williams.
I'm going to use your mother-in-law. So-so.
My mother-in-law describes my cooking. So. Jordan Davis.
What is my scale? Should I say
Well,
like
he's-
so-so, leaning positive, and positive? How about that?
Okay, good.
There you go.
I like that.
I'll go so-so, leaning positive, leaning negative, negative, or positive. So I've got a scale of 5.
Wow.
See that?
She's smart.
I just come through.
You lost me
just
after
like that.
so-so.
Just so-so or good.
All right, so where do you put Jordan Davis?
Leaning positive,
Okay. Jalen Carter.
positive.
Bryce Huff.
That's a good one. I mean, on paper, everybody's like this. You should get excited about this guy, but I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. Leaning. I'll give him leaning positive. No, you know what? No, I'm going to give him so-so.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
N'Kobe Dean. You're shaking your head no, just so the people out there
Leaning
can.
negative.
Yeah.
I
She's
know.
Yeah,
like,
you can't.
negative.
That is
She's
such a
trying.
cop
It
out.
was.
She's trying
shaking
so
her head
hard.
no.
I want to try so hard because I saw him in college and I thought, wow, like, look at this specimen. He's amazing. What an athlete. And he gets here and I'm like, what happened?
See, you don't even know you're doing it, but your head is shaking.
So I guess
sinking
I'm
in your
leaning
shoulders.
negative. Oh, it's
Yes,
so
you
hard
are.
to say.
Yeah, Devin White.
Yep, I'll give it so-so. I think the jury's still out. Can he recapture what he's supposed to be?
Right. Okay. So he was also benched by his team last year. Josh Sweat.
Positive.
Darius Slay.
Positive.
C.J. Gardner Johnson.
Positive.
Reed Blankenship.
Leaning positive.
Quinyon Mitchell. Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
They're unknowns. We have
Yeah.
to be honest. They're unknowns.
I hopeful.
Okay, so let's go to your leaning positives. Where Jordan Davis, you were leaning
Yeah.
positive. Still very much question mark.
Yeah, very
About
much a
him.
question mark. I'd be interested to see how he fits into this system. I think it seems to be made for him to kind of be the run stopper and the big guy in the middle that they expected him to be. That he has not shown to be with consistency. He's shown flashes for that. So that's why I want to lean positive with him. That's a hopeful positive for me.
Jalen Carter, when he was good, was definitely positive. He
Positive.
disappeared for the
Yeah.
last 7 games
Yeah.
of the season. That can't be a positive.
Yeah, and they say rookie wall. You wonder how much that is a rookie wall and just not everything else catching up to him, including offenses.
Yeah, and when you play at Georgia, you're playing 15 games a year. So it wasn't like, oh, my God, we're throwing.
Right.
Unlike the NBA, they're not throwing 50 more games at you. They threw 2. So, that rookie wall, that's tough. I understand it, but, man, that's tough. In Bryce Huff, I think that's an unknown. In N'Kobe Dean, I would say unknown is being nice, but we have to be honest, it is an unknown. In Devin White, you have a guy that was benched last year and people think has just fallen off the edge. Josh Sweat, let's not forget, he's got to play that role now without Hassan Reddick on the other side of the football. That means a lot. This defense lost their best player.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that specifically Fangio was asked about Hassan Reddick specifically, just because, I mean, that's a quintessential person in the scheme that he runs personnel-wise. Hassan Reddick type is exactly what he looks for.
Yeah. Darius Slay, we have to be honest, he's getting up there in age. Was there much slippage from him last year? He had the injury. He was out for 4 games or so?
Yeah, I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, towards the end of the season, came back for the playoff. you worry about, or at least I do. I'll say I worry about somebody in their mid-30s, getting close to mid-30s, playing.
Was he 31?
I thought he was like 33. I thought
he?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'm sure there's a way to do that somehow.
Yeah, the internet might
I'll
help
call
me
him.
out
I'll
there.
give him a call.
Hey,
we'll see
what up,
what's up,
Slay?
man. How
How
old are you,
you?
Slay? And then, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, yes. Reed Blankenship, to me, hopefully. Yeah, he's still like a hopeful.
Yeah, you're right. 33. Just turned 33. in
33, yeah. So
Slay.
that's kind of I don't know. That to me, there's just questions abound with this
Yeah,
defense.
there's some questions. I mean,
No, there's a lot of questions. There's some positives.
There's some positives. There you go. I
Yeah.
think the front part of it is maybe the most troubling. I'm not at, which is strange because I think going into the offseason, the concerns were all about the secondary. I don't know that the concern, GJ coming back, I think is a big boost to that entire thing because Bradbury's not on that team. I don't be surprised if he comes out
Right.
of camp on this team. And then the additions of whatever Quinyon Mitchell, who I think is going to vie for the spot opposite Slay. But yeah, the front, the line, it's a day that ends in what every year. It's like, how are the linebackers going to be? It's asking about how the goalie's going to be for the Flyers, who's going to play alongside Joel Embiid when he's not, or in place of Joel Embiid, and what's wrong with the linebacking core. It's been an issue for I don't even know how many years here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's another one of my obsessions.
Linebacking core?
Yeah, well, I am. Like, why can't
You've never
they
figured
just,
it out.
Can't you just get some good linebackers in here? My most desired position to watch in football, Aim, is a playmaking middle linebacker.
Well, yeah.
Everybody will
because
say
there's some tremendous
quarterback.
ones.
Oh man, I
I mean,
love.
think about some of the great, because it's the quarterback of the defense.
It is
essentially. So
and someone that's everywhere, just everywhere.
Yeah.
I love to see that. Devin White was kind of that early in his
he was,
career.
and that's the thing. I don't know if he'll get back there. I think there's a lot of things that have transpired to that, but you're hoping he can garner some of that, and then he would be that guy. And that's what I know that they think Bryce Huff, mark that one down. Bryce Huff can be Hassan Reddick.
That's a big ask.
I
You're
know.
asking somebody to come in here that played 40% of your their defense last year.
I know.
To replace your best player.
And literally got to the quarterback at will.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. That's like the biggest question for me because, and I don't think that that's anything to say talent-wise against Bryce Huff. You're asking a lot for Bryce Huff.
Yeah,
to
it's
do
nothing.
that.
Yeah, and
He might be able to do it. I don't know.
And then when you look at the backups on defense, so we're talking defensive line right now. Ojomo, Mustafa, Tuipulotu, Brandon Graham at 39, 100 years old.
First of all, Brandon Graham could just go out there and fall down. I don't care.
We love him, but like even your response is kind of like, because I'm a big words guy because of our jobs, But even your response when I brought up defense, like, yeah, there's some questions, but that was what got me this weekend. I think most people are like that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're okay.
They'll figure it out.
I don't know, man. This defense really has me kind of worried. The one place that I do like is the secondary.
Yes.
What you mentioned, and then you still have Keely Ringo. Sidney Brown, it's such a shame he got hurt late last year because I think they're
I
really
think he
onto
was
something
taking
there.
yeah.
Right?
Keely Ringo too.
But yeah, I find it. I don't want to be the negative guy. I'm trying. I am
realistic.
always. That's what I always try to be, is the realistic guy. I think realistically, this Eagles defense is one huge question mark to me right now, and it's all on paper. But the word of the day that we're talking about, not to steal it from you, Tyrone. I hope to God this wasn't his word of the day.
I hope not.
But I'm talking about obsession. Obsession in the city. Obsession with you. When it comes to the sports teams, what is it? And Ray, you say we have a text about it?
Yeah, we got two different texts on it. One person checking in, first-time texter here from New Jersey, saying they have an obsession right now with the Phillies pitcher's ERA. They are homed in on that one.
That's a good obsession.
So what was the stat this weekend? Before yesterday's game, they had 7 of their 12 had an under 2 ERA. Like, that is ridiculous.
It's insane.
That is insane. And Ranger Suarez, I'm sorry. Do we have a cool award to give out? Because since Arthur Fonzarelli, he's the coolest guy, and people don't get that rep. Do you know Arthur Fonzarelli, Ray?
Fonz.
Fonz, okay. He is the coolest guy.
His swag level is out of control.
And he's good. Besides, he's pretty damn good.
Besides that.
Like, I could watch him field ground balls all day
it's
long.
so great.
Yeah, it is awesome. All right, what's the other one, Ray?
The other one, the Phillies and winning the division.
Yes, that's a good obsession to have. I feel like that is a big obsession right now. People, once they saw like how they finished April, how they started the beginning of this month, they thought, and the way that the Braves are playing still well, don't get me wrong, but not having Spencer Strider there, I think helps. People are obsessed with winning the division. They're tired of the Braves freaking winning the division.
All right, devil's advocate, I'll play here. I agree with you, and I
You don't
I
think
want
it's
them.
important because they've done it?
No, well, that's the argument.
Yeah.
It's the important level. See, like, What's the thing that you say a spouse? Okay, say Sean is just like obsessed with something. Sometimes you don't get. You'll just say, "Why are you obsessed with this?" Like it's not something to be obsessed about. Is that how you should look at the division? Because I mean, let's be honest, they didn't win it the last 2 years, but they should have gone to the World Series last year. They did go to the World Series 2 years ago. They got the easier path. Well, it was easier because they didn't have to play themselves.
Well, I was going to say, the Braves won the division. They played them.
Yeah.
Beat them.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. I remember.
It was so
It was
amazing.
all part of Red October.
I mean, maybe that's a more enjoyable thing. But no, I think it's ridiculous. They just constantly win. Like, let us have this one thing. Let us also, enjoy a nice, long Red October division. I'm tired of the Braves winning it. They've won it forever. And this goes back for people for decades. Like, think about the 90s. They won 14 straight. Like, what are we doing?
I got to
Stop
tell
taking
you.
it.
I think I'm obsessed with Ricky Batalico's face there. I'm not.
I hear you. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that would be the argument.
Right,
I would love to win the division.
Yeah, it does matter to me.
You want the division.
I know. I don't want to do it. I don't care for the division.
Ricky's army crawling behind us.
Ricky, we got to do a show here, okay? A little bit of show of professionalism here. If I so much as stand behind that glass on the television, I get, don't stand back there while they're on TV. They need to do a show, Ricky. All right, he's going to beat me up here, so you guys do the rest of the segment.
Sorry, Rick.
Yeah. But, I'm already hating the days off, though.
Oh, you are?
I am. Like, what are we going to do for 5 days without baseball? That's where I went to. It's October, and the Phillies have 5 days off. I don't like this.
Yeah, no, that's true. I do like that because I think there is something to be said for momentum and kind of getting on a roll, and I think that you've seen that with this team.
Yeah.
Health-wise, it'd be great. Everybody gets rest, but I know from just towards the end of the season when they were flirting with that 6-man rotation, how much Zach Wheeler did not like that.
Hates it.
And he's talked about it repeatedly this time. Like, I don't like that. These guys like rhythm. So for baseball, rhythm is very important. It is in all sports, but really in baseball, especially for those guys trying to get into the rhythm of the postseason. To have all of those whole weeks off in 4 or 5, 6 days, that's a lot.
And it's funny because 2 years ago, let's not forget, they shut him down basically for rest.
Right.
There was a forearm thing, but as we know and later found out, they kind of were more giving him rest because he'd pitched a lot of innings and coming off Tommy John a couple years ago, all of those things. So he was really good after that, too, in the playoffs with some rest. He does like to be in the routine better. I don't know who the hell that was wearing the Wheeler uniform yesterday and had that mask on with the beard that looked like him because that wasn't him.
It's like the second time I've seen him down in Marlins Park struggle. And I know he came out really quickly and said it wasn't because of Garrett Stubbs. There is, and you brought up the stats. The stats do bear out a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it the glove? Is it the size of Garrett Stubbs, who's obviously
because he's a little guy.
He's a bit smaller than JT. Is the target different for him to see? It's something that he obviously could not find command of, and that I do think his command was off. Regardless,
way off yesterday.
And then not having a catcher that you're familiar with, I think, just really exacerbated it. It was unusual. It was definitely eye-opening. And you were looking at this, I'm like, it's the second. What's happening right now?
Yeah,
How is this the thing?
And when Sosa hits the triple and knocks in 2, and he takes third on the play, which was awesome too because there was one out. I thought, you know what, this is really this. Not that they're not a great team. I think they're a great team. But what a sign of a great team when your starter struggles so badly.
Yeah.
And you're still able to. They scored 6 runs yesterday.
Yeah,
you
and
should
I
be
think
able to
that's
win
the thing.
with 6.
So we're looking at it. I'm like, all right, there was some, and I thought the way the game ended was just kind of like that was a fluky type of thing.
Yeah, that was weird. And let's not forget the bullpen. You're looking for a positive yesterday. Also, the bullpen went 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's a big positive.
That run. I'm only explaining this because I didn't realize it until today when I was looking at the box score that a relief pitcher doesn't get charged with an earned run when that automatic runner at second scores, which makes sense. But I'm not very sensible. So that's why I didn't, figure it out. Took the likes of Ray, Wonder Kid Ray, to get that out of me. Okay, listen, you got a couple of calls here about obsession. I can't wait to get to it because I'm really enamored with this. I'm obsessed with it, Aim. I'm obsessed with obsession. So I want to talk to you about that. What's your obsession in the city? What's an obsession maybe that the city has that you either love or you can't stand? Whatever it may be, let us know. 610-632-0975. I think it's a fun conversation today about obsession. Doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be positive. Whatever it might be. I'm Bob Cooney with Amy Fadul all day long until 2 o'clock. This is Middays 97.5 The Fanatic. 30 here, middays, as Amy Fadul joins us all day long. And Amy, what's your schedule here for the rest of the week?
I'm with you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, too?
Tomorrow, too. Only from 10 to 2. And I
there she
love
goes again.
joining with you guys. I jump, I leap at every chance I can. The only time I don't enjoy it as much is when I'm down at the Wells Fargo Center, where I love being at work because I love doing Phillies games, and that's what I'm doing tomorrow with Ricky Metallica, who we were just talking to. But it means I do it from the Ricky radio room, and I cannot see your shining faces.
Right.
I enjoy our chit-chats, and I enjoy our pre-show shows that we do, and I love being with Ricky. He's staring at me right now. But I do enjoy that. It's the Ricky radio room, and it's a fun time. But then I'll be here on Wednesday, and then I'll be here on Friday.
Oh, my gosh. We're getting
All
a
shows.
full, almost a full week of Amy
Yes.
Fadul.
Full shows on Wednesday and Friday.
All right. That's what we love, because we're obsessed with you, Amy.
Well, that's probably, I appreciate that. I don't think it's
Kind of
factual.
creepy.
A little scary, yeah.
I was gonna say.
As soon as you said that one.
Well, I tease because...
He's going with the obsession.
Yes, because I've been talking... All right, that's enough out of you. I've been talking about obsession today when it comes to sports. All right, and we've had a lot of a good answer. Ray, you say we have a text before we get to the callers. We have a text about obsession. Did you say that or did you not? Did I misunderstand you?
Yes, we do have a text about
There we go.
obsession.
Oh.
Yeah, somebody chiming
Gave
in
me a
with
blank
us.
stare like I was...
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm looking right at you, Just obsessed with this show, Bob, and doing the best show possible here. Someone kind of following up on the second round conversation, the obsession with the 76ers and the postseason viability. It's never really about anything else but how you can put a team in position for the postseason.
It's a strong possession.
Yeah, it is. It is a... Well, they started
Because
it.
it's exactly because it's been that way for
It sounded like I was 8 years
decades.
old. They started it like I was in a fight with somebody.
20 plus
But-
years at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Why? I still don't understand another one of my obsessions. Why have they had so much trouble building a roster around
Maybe
Joel
that's our
Embiid?
obsession here in Philadelphia. Is it's always the off season. We don't have a lot of championships to speak of. It's
No,
always that.
But as somebody said on our YouTube chat, what do you complain about, Philadelphia? All of your teams have a viable attempt to win a championship.
That's
you should
true.
be happy on that. I agree. But, seeing the cake all the time,
Yeah, and
once
then
in a
not-
while you want to take a bite out
Yeah,
of it.
just a little piece.
Yeah.
I got something for that. This offseason thing, and I'm guilty of it too. The assets. I think we're very, very obsessed. And
We
I
used
think
to
the
be.
phrasing, I think we're still a little obsessed
Really?
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's people that are, oh, well, don't move the draft pick if it, keep the draft
Is the
pick.
draft pick worth whatever? The Clippers
Yeah.
draft pick, yeah.
Or going into this offseason, going into this season after the trade deadlines. Well, luckily they preserved all that cap space. We love the idea of something. The
That's
idea
true.
of something is so much better sometimes than the actual what you
Performance
can
of
get.
it, yeah.
I know in the Eagles draft, we're definitely obsessed with draft picks.
Yes, that was trust
That's all
me.
we talk about.
The draft day trades, I was kind of grateful I was gone that weekend because look, they're going there, they're going there. Yeah, sometimes I just want to make a pick. I know this is short-sighted me, but
Sometimes I'd like to see a name attached to my
I'm
team.
just another trade, another
Kick
trade.
the kid,
Hey,
yeah.
he's doing well apparently, but I don't know who's going to be there in the third round next year. I'm just trying to keep track of who's in the third round this year.
Yeah, I want immediate
point.
satisfaction, not
Yeah.
waiting a year
Maybe
down
that's
the
our
road.
obsession.
Nick in Riverside, his obsession has to do with the Sixers. What's going on, Nick? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Amy.
Good
How
morning,
you doing?
Nick.
Amy, how was your Mother's Day?
It was excellent. Thank you so much for asking.
You're welcome. Well, it's funny because I'm calling about my obsession of the Sixers off season. And it's just, I just don't know what we're going to do. It's hard because, you got Paul George, you got Jimmy Butler. They're pretty much the same age. And it sounds like that's what they're going for. But, you got Embiid and Maxey who are going to be on max contracts. What do you think they're going to do, guys?
That's a great question.
It is,
Yeah,
Nick, and
because
thanks
it
so
is-
much. Appreciate it.
I like that the obsession is the off season because he said it's this year, but I think Nick probably means every year because I feel like every year it's the off season. What are we going to do?
Right. Well,
What
it
are we
has to
gonna
be.
see?
Yeah, well, they didn't get to the second round. They didn't get out of the second round again. What are they going to do?
It's a great question. To me, the question is more Paul George, yay or nay. The Jimmy Butler thing, I think you can kind of, I don't know. You can either go one way or the other. I don't know if there's as high on that. I've seen the reports where it's like, okay, if we don't get Paul George, we're going to go after Jimmy Butler. I don't equate those two. I think it's Paul George and then I would pivot in a different way than Jimmy Butler, given Jimmy Butler's age and maybe tailing off a little bit. But he He wants to play with Joel Embiid. There's no doubt about that. To me, the big question is Paul George. Do you go all in on Paul George? Do you give him a max? That's a hesitation there for me.
It is.
I love Paul George as a player, but I just don't know if I max him out.
I have no hesitation when it comes to Jimmy Butler. I'm out.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know why, but I did. I came to that realization last week. I was going to bring it up on one of the shows, but I didn't. Whatever. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like the injury stuff is starting to creep in with the age and all of that. A mid-range jump shooter with Joel Embiid. Like, look, Jimmy. I know that Jimmy Butler's a winner and he can take teams to places. I'm just out. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That's just my personal. I don't want to.
There's not the slightest. There's not the slightest. Like,
no, really.
This could be fun.
I don't know why. I don't.
I mean, it could be fun. It also could blow up in your face.
Well, all these could blow up in our faces.
Mad scientist type of vibe. Listen,
this is what would just be an enjoyable path to getting to it blowing up in your face.
Why?
Because it's Jimmy Butler. Like there has to be a little bit. There's not a little bit of you. Like, wow, this would be, wow, Butler's back in town.
Look,
should
if
have been
they
him
do
the
it,
first time around.
if they do it, I'll dive into how this could be good, or whatever. Right now, you can't help how you feel. I say that a lot. I don't know why. My feel right now, it's not even a hesitancy. No, I don't want to do. I don't. I think Jimmy Butler is aging and is starting to show injuries more and more. I'm out on Jimmy Butler.
All right.
Yeah.
My logic starts to walk down that path.
Yes,
There's
logically.
a little piece of me. I can't lie.
Fun.
Can't help the way I feel.
A smidgen?
There's a little bit of me that's like, well, come on. This could be a fun path down this. And you have the blank canvas. It can't work until it can.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler comes in here. They're like,
you sound a lot more than a smidgen in on Jimmy Butler. I got to tell you.
Listen,
I think you're up to your shoulders in it.
I'm not all in. No, he's not my number one guy for this offseason. But I be honest with you.
Number 2 guy.
You say you're all out. That makes me a little.
I don't know if I'm all out, but I'm definitely not all out.
Yeah, I just am.
You're just out.
Right now.
All right.
Yeah, I'm out.
You can be out.
Joe on the cell has an obsession, but it's not a player. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
But going on Butler, you got compensation on Butler. On George, you have no compensation, so that's another reason not to be on Butler.
See?
Yeah,
Smart man, Joe.
My obsession is the First Union Center, the Wachovia Center, and now the Wells Fargo Center. Not one stinking championship. Unless you count the Soul half a year. They played half at the Spectrum and half at that store. So that's it. Nothing. Not one winning team. It is absolutely, there must be a curse. Is it Indian burial ground? I have no idea. There's not one winning team out of that thing. Now,
Joe, I got to tell you, Joe, real quick, I'll let you talk, but I never thought when I threw this out there that we were going to get a building to be an obsession.
I like
That's
it.
pretty good.
So then we had the Lombardi curse, right? So I'm working up in North Jersey often, all the time. So I went to Vince Lombardi Plaza. I grabbed the dirt and I put it in both end zones of the link right before the Atlanta game. So and then when Julio Jones stopped that pass, I'm like, well, maybe it's something because Lombardi had that curse. They'll never beat us. They'll never win. So I'm not superstitious. But that point being said, another obsession I have is when Morey makes a midseason trade. Now, not one. Name one that worked out.
That Daryl Morey made?
Midseason trade. Name one that worked out.
Like in his history or just here in Philadelphia?
In his here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'd have to look back. And Joe, thanks so much. Appreciate it. The obsession being the Wells Fargo Center.
I love it.
Is a curse.
Well, yeah, because it's been a bunch of different names.
Yeah.
The only team that's played there
and has won championships
is Villanova.
Yep, I knew you were going to say it. Yeah.
That's another obsession.
Yeah. That's an obsession with who?
A lot of people have an obsession with Villanova not being a city school.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I'm down on that. Like, I'm out on that, too. Jimmy Butler and Villanova not being a Philly school, I'm out on both of them. Villanova's a Philly school. Stop it. I mean,
sure.
my God.
If you
the only
take
people
the
that
highway
don't think,
down to the city, sure, yeah.
Okay. The only people that don't think it are the ones that are
Other Big Five schools.
butthurt the Temple
That's
people
all right.
that are all around
That's
here.
all
Oh, it's just
There's no
Temple
reason.
people. Yeah, no,
St.
not St.
Joe's.
Joe's people. Certainly not St. Joe's
I said
people.
that are here. We don't have St. Joe's people here. We don't have.
That's St. Joe's erasure. I'm sure there's someone in this building from St. Joe's.
Not that I deal with. I'm just talking about the people that I deal with in here, Ray, are Temple people that insist that Villanova
Not all the
isn't
Temple
a
people.
city
You got
school.
some of the Temple people that just rock Nova gear around here. That's not all.
Oh, that's
Temple.
right.
Yeah.
You don't know this. So there's a Brendan Gunn.
Do you see how, yes, I know.
Brendan Gunn went
Yes.
to Temple, but is a Villanova basketball fan.
Interesting. You saw how quickly my head turned when I was like, I'm sorry,
Well,
what?
this is
I
why
like
I
it.
say there's no rules to fandom.
You can be
because,
whatever.
like, you got, on the old show, you had Kincade and Egan in there, and Egan's, templed up. Egan didn't go to Temple. But there's an excuse because, he went to a Division II school, so that means he didn't have a team to root for. My head spins. I don't make rules for fandom. I don't think anybody needs to have rules for
you
fandom.
can just root for
If
whomever
Pat
you
wants
want.
to be a Temple fan, great. Let him be a Temple fan. But don't go around telling Brendan Gunn that he can't wear Villanova gear because he went to Temple when you have Egan in there all templed up.
Well, there's a lot of times people can't go to whatever school they really grew up liking for a myriad of reasons, whether it's financial, they didn't get in, or other things where it was just easier for them to go wherever. And they could still
Exactly.
root for that. I don't gatekeep fandom.
So I have a son that played a year of basketball at LaSalle and then transferred and he graduated and got his master's from South Carolina. Can he still not be a LaSalle fan?
Why wouldn't he be? No, I don't.
I mean, he is. He still keeps in touch with everybody that he played with at
He
LaSalle.
could be a LaSalle fan.
He
He
still
can be
keeps in
whatever
touch
fan
with the
he
coaches
wants.
that were with him at LaSalle. I think he can be a fan
some
of whatever
people
you want.
Might have a problem if he then was a fan of another Big Five school.
I like a lot of different types of ice cream.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
I'm not. I'm just.
I have all
telling you.
these. I like all. I have a Penn sweatshirt. I wear that next, and then I'll wear a Temple sweatshirt and a Villanova shirt. But I'm not. I didn't go to a Big Five school. I
Right.
would never in the history of the world ever wear a University of Louisville anything ever.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I grew up a St. Joe's fan, went to Temple.
Do you
I'm
ever?
a Temple guy.
But do you ever like? Do you?
I
you have
went to a
any
St. Joe's game. I
affection?
rocked some Temple gear. Listen, if St. Joe's does well, it's good for them because good for the city. Like I'm not. I'm
Same
not.
with
So then
Villanova.
Well,
It
yeah,
is
I mean,
good.
again, it's tough for me to get out all the
They've
way
had
to Villanova.
parades.
Traffic's tough.
Oh, for
you know.
the love of Pete. The guy lives in Northern Libs.
What did you say, Grandmama? What? Oh, for the love of Pete.
Oh
my gosh.
I know. I have a
feel
lot
like
of old people expressions. I have a lot of old.
I
Sean
never
tells
knew
me-
that about
Sean
you.
tells me that all the time. Like,
Really?
Who are you? 90? And I'm like, yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
I do.
We do have a friend who we went out with on Friday night, and she does that also.
Yeah, I got a lot.
She'll pull out for the love of whatever.
love of
and,
Pete.
yeah, and
I need that like I need a hole in the head.
I just look at her. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I know.
I'm old.
Whatever. No, you're not.
I
You are
know,
not old.
but I talk like I'm
You're
old.
a spring chicken. I'm the old one here. But we're not bringing up age.
We're not bringing
right,
up age
Ray?
on this
That's
show.
right.
That's right.
So, all right, when we get back, a lot more to talk about. We have some more people that want to talk about obsession. We'll dig into this Phillies, what they have coming up. I'm not a denier of what the schedule is. Ray, who did you say had a great analogy of it?
Connor.
And what did he say exactly?
Connor said it was like a fly in the house. I'm not going to spend all day looking for it, but the fact that it's there bothers me. And that was talking about people who were complaining about the schedule.
Yeah. Why are
Okay.
people obsessed with the this is the schedule you're given.
Yeah.
We'd be obsessed if they weren't beating the teams that they're supposed to be.
They're playing down.
John Kincade says it a lot, and I agree with him. He said, it bothers the hell out of him that in years past that you weren't beating up on the bad teams, Florida Marlins, Miami Marlins, whatever it may be. Washington Nationals, the Phillies have done a really good job of beating up on them. So, hey, embrace it. I say embrace it while it's here. You can wait for the Braves and the Dodgers and those good
You'll
teams.
get 'em.
Yeah, you'll get them. They're going to be there. All right, everybody on the line, hold on. We're going to get to more of your obsessions as we continue here. Amy Fadul is here until 2 o'clock today. That's right. She's putting in a full day until the best show ever comes on. Then you're going to have Tyrone and Ricky. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back as we get towards the 12 o'clock hour here on a Monday. Hope everybody's doing okay. We're talking a lot about obsession today with Amy Fadul. And while we were on break, we did a little Instagram thing with our friend Dylan McKinnon, who's asking, can I say, is this a surprise or can I say what the topic was?
I think you can
right?
probably say it.
Yeah.
Probably say it. I don't know.
So he's gone around. He set up to 8 of us now.
Yeah, because people don't know the answers.
Right. So he came around to 8 of us asking, would you draft Bronny James at 16 if you were the Sixers in order to get LeBron James? Amy and I had the same answer.
Yes.
I said I would draft Bronny. I would draft Zuri, who's his daughter. I would draft their dog, the maid, anybody that if it would get LeBron James into town. Amy was also in agreement. And then Amy let us know about one of her obsessions.
Well, are you talking about like what Shawnee said to me? Or like my...
Yeah, the whole family?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm obsessed with the whole... There's a lot of... I like sports families. I'm obsessed with the Manning family. That's my true obsession. Big fans of their whole... From Archie all the way down. Skip Eli, give or take. But really...
I've grown to like Eli more ever since he retired.
Because I watch the Manning cast quite a bit on Monday Night Football. I love the Manning cast.
So do I.
So I like him in that role. Peyton Still's number one. I think Cooper's very funny.
Cooper might be the funniest of all of them, but he doesn't have the platform.
Yeah, you see Arch Manning, too. He doesn't have the platform. He does it occasionally. But then I said, oh, yeah, I love the James family. I'm a big LeBron James fan. Anybody that knows me, if you watch Sixers pre and post, Mark Jackson and I could go in. We are big into LeBron. And so Shawnee told me, he's like, Mom, you would be unbearable if the Sixers had LeBron here. And he's 100% right. I would be it would be my obsession.
See, now you're a media person that has to be unbiased and doing Sixers pre and post. Would you be able to do that, Aim, if LeBron James is on the Sixers?
I mean, I could still be critical of him when it was warranted, but I would definitely lean more. I'm a positive person anyway. Like, I generally tend to look on the brighter side of things as a whole, and my role in that is to kind of set up Jim and Mark. So I set it up in a way. You can still be critical. We were still critical, obviously, of guys that didn't play well, like Tobias Harris down the stretch. But overall, I would have a generally positive vibe when it came to LeBron James. I would think it was like here he is, the greatest player to ever play. Good luck, everybody. And everybody's playing for second place. I would be, it would just on TV, I would be okay. But in my personal life, I would be unbearable.
Now, we're getting some pushback here on our YouTube page.
All right. They don't want LeBron.
LeBron just got bounced in the first round, but we win if we get him. I don't get it. Okay. Love LeBron, but Sixers need to get younger, not older.
Oh, you can still get young. There's a lot of space on that roster. You got 13 spots.
It's silly to even discuss this.
Now, I get that because every time I think about it, I'm like, realistically, this was like back in 2018 when they thought they had I don't think it was a realistic chance then. I don't know how realistic it is now.
Right.
I don't know if it's silly to discuss it. I think it's still a fun discussion to have because he's going to make some decision. It's coming up, in less than a month, I think, at this point. Or maybe it's a little over a month. It's like mid-June. He said he was going to decide. And I think that's one of the things that another reason that people don't like him is they feel like he holds teams hostage.
I don't know. I say it all the time. You give me great players, I think I could make it work. And if you don't think LeBron is still great, sorry, I don't.
He made Space Jam 2. He's done with L.A., all right? He can move on somewhere else.
Yeah, if you're going to be against LeBron for doing something, have it be that. Space Jam 2. You didn't need to do Space Jam over again. Space Jam should stand on its own. Great movie.
That was a tough one. If we start doing the legacy debate between him and Jordan, he lost points with that one.
He did lose that. He lost that head-to-head. No question about it. Tasty Cake Dom, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Dom?
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Aim, I'm glad to hear you had a good Mother's Day.
Thanks, Dom.
And also, by the way, you guys are – so during the playoffs, as much as I love Shaq and Charles, I watched you and the coach and Mark.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Oh, yeah. The show was great. So Bob, I think for the obsessive thing, I think that people in our area, and I'm talking about myself included, I think we're pretty prideful on our sports acumen and our knowledge of sports. So when we form an opinion, I think we obsess about it because we think we're right, no matter what you're told, like you're not going to be swayed on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. You're right.
Like you mentioned, Bob. You mentioned about the way you said it. You said, "Why do people hate LeBron?" And I just remember running my route prevalently during the Miami Heat years, right? These young fellas at the Wawas and everybody, that they were all LeBroned up. You could say, Bob, you could say to these guys, he's the best player in the NBA. He's a champion. He's an all-time great. But if you said those three words, he's not Jordan, oh, my God, they would get so set off about that. So I think the LeBron people are a little like, I have an opinion. I saw them. I'm old enough that I saw them both. And as great as LeBron is, the second best player of all times, I'll still say he's not Jordan.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. And I hear you, Dom. Thanks so much for the call. Like, that, if you want to look at it, if you're LeBron James, I would be like,
Okay.
okay. Wow. Nobody really is Jordan, but you're not, everybody's being compared to Jordan. I am, so I'm happy with what I did.
Yeah, and Jordan, and that's an obsessive argument. I think Dom hit that on the nail on the head. People's obsession, some have this obsession with debating greatest of all time. And there's people that will die on the hill for LeBron, they'll die on the hill for Jordan. For whatever reason, for some people, that those two can't coexist. You can't have them both be together. But they're always going to, the Jordan people, the rings, and then the LeBron people, longevity, the positions that he plays. He can guard 1 through 5, and they'll go into different things. But the Jordan people always come back to, the guy was a killer. He did not lose a finals. He has 6 rings. What do you want with them? And then, of course, people point out, well, I had Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
It's always a back and forth.
It should be if you're arguing about the best, in my mind, of anything, it should be a fun conversation as opposed to trying to point out what the badness of one person was. Like, that's crazy to me. You're talking about the two greatest, in many people's opinions, of all time, but I'm going to sit here and pick out bad things about them?
He lost the finals or, whatever else, or Jordan needed somebody else. Everybody needs somebody else. You can't win anything on your own, but they're amazing, and the eye test passes them both. The things that those two have been able to do on the basketball court. And LeBron, the one he'll get the nod is the longevity of it. Jordan, fine at the end, but the Wizards was a shell of himself. Let's just be honest.
I always say that LeBron's body was made to play in the Jordan era and vice versa.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen the other one play in the era that the other one played. I mean, just whatever. But no, if I'm making an argument on that one, I just argue with a smile on my face and pointing out the goodness of the player maybe that I would take over the other one, not the badness of one or supposed. When we get back, I was talking to a legend this weekend, a legend in this city, and as I said it, I was wondering about. Ray just got in my ear, so he got me confused. Who are the legends in this city that we've come across, and maybe some of them you might be obsessed with? All that. We have Amy Fadul here till 2:00. I'm Bob Cooney, middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, noon hour here on Middays. As we got a fun little conversation going. We're getting a lot of fight back on YouTube, Aim.
About LeBron?
About LeBron, yeah.
That's why
the one thing, there's a guy, Voodrew. Love you, Voodrew. Yeah, he says, LeBron had a better roster and got bounced in the first round. Why would we bring him here and expect it to work? Don't complicate it. I'll take Joel Embiid over Anthony Davis. I'll take Tyrese Maxey over
D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Anthony
Davis is a top 75 all-time player, but he's also injured a lot.
I think Joel Embiid's a better player. But anyway, we have someone on the Comcast Business Hotline who we don't want to leave hanging, Amy.
No, we would never.
And that would be Matt Gelb talking off Phillies baseball. Matt, how are you today? Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Good. How you doing today?
Good. I'm just past exit 10 on the Jersey Turnpike, so...
That's the Metuchen exit.
We'll see how long it takes me to get to Queens from here.
All right. Well, good luck
Safe
on that,
travels.
Matt. Yeah. Matt, this Phillies team has been nothing but good this season, and you'd really be nitpicking to try to figure out some things that, you consistently don't like or whatever. They've been great. What I'll ask you is my first question to you. Is there anything going on now that you see is extremely unsustainable from this baseball team?
Not really. I mean, that's the thing. Is like the rotation has been incredible. Like, I don't think they're going to sustain all of the things that they've done. But the idea that this can be one of the 3 or 5 best rotations in baseball is not totally outlandish. I mean, yes, they have faced some inferior opponents. They have beaten them at almost a 700 clip this season, which is pretty darn good. It's why they have the best record in baseball. And, are you going to have a 1.7 ERA from Ranger Suarez the whole year? Probably not. But could you see Ranger Suarez having an ERA under 3? Yeah. I mean, I think you could. You could see that for Zach Wheeler, too. So I don't see anything being totally unsustainable right now. Maybe it's the way they've hit in the first inning, which has been crazy to me. They have scored 41 runs in 41 games in the first inning. And that's, combine that with the way they've pitched in the rotation. I mean, that's why they've been winning a lot of games. They're getting out to early leads. The rotation has pitched well. And, I mean, is that totally unsustainable? I don't think so.
Yeah, we're not used to having so much joy so early with this team. I think you're waiting for them to kind of round into form right around Memorial Day, and it's come early. And I think maybe that's why there's, nitpicky's probably too strong, but you're looking for, reasons to not believe. And I think that there are a lot. But people have talked about, including Bob, about maybe keeping certain guys in the lineup longer. Do you think that will kind of even out, or will Rob Thompson still tinker with this lineup? Obviously, left, right with Brandon Marsh. Do you think he'll continue to tinker with it in the ways that we've seen?
I do. I mean, obviously right now it's a little bit of a challenge to them because and the one thing where you can have goal is they're banged up right now. I mean, and this is going to be a good test this week. They have 4 against the Mets, 3 against the Nats, and 2 somewhat mediocre teams that are probably playing about as we expected, maybe a little better, but divisional games will be a challenge, and you're not sure if you're going to have Kyle Schwarber or JT Realmuto for all of these games. And so Rob Thompson's had to tinker, but with regards to, for example, Bryson Stott, he sat that first game against the lefty in Miami, then he played the next 2, and to me right now Stott is an everyday guy. He's found his rhythm again. Early in the season, I could see why he wasn't playing against some of the lefties. Did not have his best swing, did not have his best approach to the plate. Was hitting into some bad luck maybe, but to me he's been one of their best hitters, maybe their best hitter in the last 2 weeks. And they're facing another lefty tonight, and I would expect him to be in there. As for Marsh, I mean, he's tailed off. The numbers against lefties this year aren't great. And I know he hasn't had a ton of at-bats against lefties, but they haven't been great. And, I get why he's given playing time to some other guys, playing the left-right matchups with Marsh. I think Stott has a better chance of being an everyday guy right now than Marsh does, and that's kind of how it was entering the season, too.
Matt, the way that it was handled, we're talking to Matt Gelb from The Athletic here on the Comcast Business Hotline. The way that the organization or Rob Thompson decided to handle the Turnbull situation with putting him in the pen, and now you're going to give him days, maybe piggyback him, whatever it may be. Do you think that's what's going to stay for the rest of the year, or do you think they're kind of just keeping him loose in case a Christopher Sanchez or a Taijuan Walker I don't know, doesn't fit the eye test of what they need from them.
Yeah, Bob, I mean, I would be stunned if this is what they stick with for the rest of the way, because that would mean that all 5 of their current starters stay healthy and stay productive, and we just, it just doesn't happen. I mean, that's how baseball is in 2024. Like, you just can't expect that to happen. So, I mean, it's a nice insurance policy to have, and the reason why they are trying to keep him stretched out, and I know he only pitched 1 inning yesterday, and I think that was more a result of the game because they tied it up while he was warming up, and they decided they wanted to use him. Because he got warmed up, they didn't want to waste him. But, you look at the depth behind Turnbull right now, and that's like the stars of AAA. It's not good. And this is why they signed Turnbull. They signed him, honestly, to be the long guy in the bullpen. That was the plan when they signed him, and that he would fill out, in the rotation if they needed it, if there was an injury or somebody was ineffective. So he's really fulfilling right now the role that they intended for him to fill. It just so happens, he started the year with 5, 6 really good starts. So I don't think he's going to be in the bullpen for the rest of the season. I do think these things have a way of working themselves out. Somebody will get hurt. Maybe it's just a minor injury and they need a starter for, 3 or 4 turns to the rotation, or somebody is ineffective and they end up swapping Turnbull back in. But they need to keep him on this roster and stretched out as best as they can, because there's really not a lot behind them. There really isn't.
You touched on this a little bit earlier, and not that long ago you wrote something on The Athletic of just about kind of like a microcosm, like an overview looking at this team. It has the best record in baseball. And you touch on the fact that they are beating the teams that are below them in the standings and below them in talent level as well. And that's not maybe something we'd seen in years past. But you play who you play. And so when people are worried about or concerned about the fact that they're not playing the level of the competition that they expect, is there any concern that this is fool's gold?
I mean, maybe a little bit. Like, they're on pace to win, 109 games or something? I don't think they're going to win 109 games. But, the difference, Amy, to me, is that they haven't just beaten these teams. I mean, they have run right through them. I mean, they have 4 sweeps already. They could have had a 5th sweep yesterday, and a game that, honestly, they probably had no business being in the way Zach Wheeler pitched, and they were still in it until the end. You're not just winning games. I mean, you're winning at a huge clip here, and you're just giving yourself armor for later in the year when, I mean, there's going to be some adversity. They're going to go through a stretch where everyone's like 2 weeks, and they haven't really played well for 2 weeks, but because they've banked so many wins, it just gives them the ability to have a bad stretch and still possibly be in first place. So I think it's the way they've done it against these bad teams. It's not like they've been eking by in a lot of these games. It's not like they've been just playing 500 ball against these so-so teams. I mean, they're really running through them, and it's a mediocre league right now. I mean, look at the National League. Like, you say, they're playing teams that are below them, but there's not a lot. I mean, it's a top-heavy league. Like, the Braves, Dodgers, and Phillies, I think we can all agree are really good teams. After that, I'm not really sure, where the good teams are in the National League.
That's a good point.
Matt, I started to get a little concerned this weekend in that Real Muto, I don't want to say goes down, but has an issue with a knee. Schwarber misses a couple of games this weekend. Trey Turner, of course, is already on the injured list. Has oldness crept into your mind a little bit as far as these injuries coming up, or and not even injuries? Is oldness maybe a little bit of a problem with this team?
Yeah, I still look at most of these guys and see them in their prime years. I mean, we're talking about guys that are 32, some of them 33, but I still see them as mainly in their primes, even if it's Real Muto maybe near the end of his prime years. These are guys who've been durable in the past. I haven't seen any reason yet to believe that they won't be durable for the remainder of this season. But, yeah, I mean, Rob Thompson has talked about this a few times, Bob. I mean, they wanted to get off to a hot start. That was something they talked about all offseason, all spring, and they did it. And now you got to make sure you're not pushing guys into the ground right now, because May is important, April is important, no doubt, but you want to make sure these guys are there at the end of the year for you. And they've done such a great job of that, especially with their pitching over the last 2 years. With the athletic training staff, the strength staff, the nutrition staff, all those people. There's a lot that goes into it. They've figured out the right formula, and they've kept most of these guys healthy. And I know people will complain when they see a guy out of the lineup, and it's like, how could he get a day of rest now? He just got it. They just had an off day. They actually have a method to this. It's not something they're just kind of spinning the wheel and saying, okay, this guy gets a day off. So I do think it's something to monitor. You don't want to run these guys into the ground. They're off to your good start, but you want to make sure that they're all there for September and October.
All right, well, Matt, we appreciate you joining us for a couple of minutes. Careful on that drive up to
Queens.
Queens, yeah. I was going to say Flushing Meadow.
Well,
Flushing.
It is Flushing.
Whatever it is. Matt, you be careful on that New Jersey Turnpike, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good stuff.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Matt Gilb from The Athletic. Not easy talking on the phone while you're driving. He didn't hear my exit 10 is Metuchen.
Yes.
Takes you on the
Of course you
287
do that.
there.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're pretty pleased with
Have
yourself, aren't
I
you?
do know. No, I don't know. Maybe I think I played my last high school game up off of exit 10. Who cares? I know. All right, you both are looking at me like.
Listen,
like,
I don't know the
like you need
Jersey
me to
exits off
say
the top of my
something
head.
else.
No,
so
I don't know
I know
either.
south. If you go south.
Well, that's
Some
what
of those
Jersey's labeled as. Oh, what exit are you from? Nobody does that in Jersey. We don't sit there and talk about,
Says
oh,
the
you
guy
live
that just
where?
did it.
Oh, that's exit such and such. No, we don't do that
You
over
just-
in Jersey.
You
It's
just did it.
you
What do
people are jealous of us living in Jersey.
That doesn't sound right.
That's not the way.
Eddie
it
Barkwitz
is.
has the best line about for someone who hates Jersey. Yeah, Jersey's the place you go through to get to Atlantic City. I always love that line from Eddie. Chris in Delaware, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Chris?
I have realized that I too have an obsession, and it pretty much happened last night. And I do catch some heat in my circle, some fun heat, when I'm scoreboard watching. My obsession is for the Phillies to win the division.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's a good one. But you're right.
After they lost yesterday, I tuned in to watch the end of the Mets and Braves games last night. I was pretty ticked off at the stinking Mets. We're not putting up in a fight, but lo and behold,
They
that's
won at the
baseball.
end.
They won.
Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah.
So wait, in baseball, Chris, you scoreboard watch throughout the 162?
As I said, I've realized I have an obsession.
First step is recognition, Chris.
I'm tired. Like I said, I came into the season wanting to play 600 ball for 6 months, and we're playing 700 ball.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of being 22 and 29 in June. But anyway, it's been great. You were talking earlier about playing who you play, right? Schedule before you. Well, the thing is, with the balanced schedule, everybody else is going to play who you play too, right?
Yeah.
It just so happens that we're beating them now, and now it's up to them to beat. That's the difference between fighting for the wild card and winning your division. Is beating up on the tomato cats, right? And so far, so good.
Totally agree with you, and I appreciate it, Chris. Like, I'm there. The obsession with scoreboard watch. I don't think that's. I think you're just being a fan.
But I think it is true. We turned over to the Braves Mets game. One, because it was Sunday Night Baseball, and I wanted to, it's the next opponent, but the Mets. But I wanted to see the Braves lose, so I was like, let's watch this.
Yeah.
There you go. Brandon Nimmo came through.
Yeah,
It is a lot early on, though.
I don't think that I wasn't watching it to make sure that. But
Right, I know.
First
but
thing when I said,
I can hear Chris, and he's
first thing they thought was like, oh well, the Braves, they lost, Phillies lost, so this still 2 games back. People are still thinking that. They're thinking right now that the Braves are still 2 games back. It's the first week of May.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I just made
They've also
deep
played
breaths.
4 less games than the Phillies.
Yeah, but they have to win all 4 of them to be tied with us.
Good point, right?
Math.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Math. They're 24 and 13. We're 28 and 13.
You're scoreboard watching, like Amy said, a little too
I have to
early.
write the sports updates, man. You write a sports update for May 13th,
know
okay?
how to
There's
write.
not a lot happening around here.
I can't wait for July 13th.
Yeah, don't start. I'm going to hate that update.
All right, so I'm at a graduation this weekend, okay?
Yes.
My niece, congratulations, Megan, graduated from LaSalle University, okay? So sit through the commencement speech and all of the, stuff that went on. By the way, did the morning show hit on it? I think it did. Thomas Jefferson graduation with the pronunciation.
Gosh, so rough.
God bless the kids that were laughing about it.
You had to. They
you did
mispronounced
have to.
Elizabeth. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and it all goes back to one of the funniest things we ever saw on Twitter was the Aaron thing, all whatever.
The Key and Peele sketch is an all-timer.
All-timer. And so anyway, at the graduation, get done the graduation, run into somebody. I'm with one of my cousins. I say hello to this gentleman, and I proceed to introduce him to her. And I say to my cousin, this man is a legend in this city.
Correct.
It was Fran Dunphy.
That's
Yes. Yeah. So he's not just a
in
legend
certain
at LaSalle.
circles, but
I don't know. See, that's where I was going to go with this. I think he's undeniably a legend in this city, and it's not because, I've covered him. He's a friend of mine. It's not that. I look at it honestly. As far as the basketball landscape goes in this city,
basketball landscape.
Yes.
And other stuff. He does other stuff too.
oh my God,
tremendous.
I don't know. There's a school that he hasn't either taught, coached, attended.
I think Drexel is the only one that he doesn't have any
is
kind
it
of
Drexel?
and I don't think there's anything.
He's masters from
Villanova. Obviously played at LaSalle, coached at Temple, coached at Penn. So I think St. Joe's and
I think I don't know. Him and Martelli were so close there for a while when Martelli was coaching at St. Joe's. I bet you he taught a class or something there. He probably did something. But he's undeniably, to me, a legend in this city. Who are some legends in this city? And you can't Allen Iverson's a legend. Yeah, we know that. But I'm kind of going under the radar. Like, there might be some people listening here that would be like, Fran Dunphy, a legend in Philly. I just think he is. I put him in the legend category. You, I think, do also, Ray. You had him for a class, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I did. I had his class at Temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tremendous.
So, covered his last season at Temple, too.
And just knowing who he is, would you not categorize? Okay. So I'm kind of putting it out there. Who are some of the legends in this city? Maybe the understated ones. I like Bernie Perron, Bobby Clark. We know those.
Yeah.
So I guess what I was looking for on top of our obsession question is, who are some of the legends in this city? Like, you may work with one. Like, Barkan is climbing that legendary ladder.
I mean, because before he was with NBC Sports Philadelphia, he was with the CBS affiliate. So he had been here in Philadelphia now we're looking at 30 years plus. So, yeah, I mean, he's so synonymous with our network that it's hard not to equate that to a legendary type of status, right? I mean, he's just been so successful for so long. He's in halls of fame, things like that.
Yeah. It's funny because when I introduced my cousin Debbie to Dumph, and I was like, this is Fran Dunphy, he's a legend. It came out, and then my mind starts going, blah, 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 because Dumph, he's like,
he's like, no,
he goes, no. His line was, in my own mind, I am. But some of the things that I equate to being a legend is the second thing you're going to say about Fran Dunphy is he's such a great guy. Well, that's legendary to me. That makes you a legend.
Yeah. The stuff that he does and the work that he and Phil Martelli started with the Coaches versus Cancer in Philadelphia, and the fact that they've raised since its inception in '97 $21 million is just, and these guys always say yes. They always say yes. They've got full-time jobs. I mean, being a basketball coach is incredibly demanding.
Yeah.
Obviously, recruiting and then the actual coaching and game planning and everything that goes into it, and the fact that they spend their time, the very little off time they have, doing the fundraising, and they don't miss those events. They're at all of the Coaches versus Cancer events, and those guys have both gone on at different points of their career and been the head of the Coaches versus Cancer, which is nationwide. They've been the chair of that. So the things that he does. Everybody that's ever met Fran Dunphy has a story about some kindness that he's extended them, whether it's something very small or something big. He always has that. He's the type of person that calls and checks on people. He's just a high quality human.
Yeah, he is, and I do. I don't throw out the word legend easily.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. When my dad died, the obituary had in there that he was a legend at the Daily News because he was like one of the builders of the Daily News. That was cool, and I was like,
Hockman, give me
wow, yeah. There's so many you're in a big pool of legends of people that help build that Daily News, but it's not a word that I use lightly. And I just thought after I said it, and then I'm driving home, and I'm just thinking in my head, legends. Who are legends around? So who are some legends? We're talking about obsessions today. Obsessions with teams. We had somebody say they were obsessed with the Wells Fargo Center because it must be built on a burial ground because it's just
built
bad
next
luck.
door to the vet.
Yeah.
Does that count?
that was pretty much a burial ground. Yeah. But so we're talking obsession. Who were you obsessed with? What maybe is something this city is obsessed about that might get on your nerves or that you loved? I love that this city's obsessed with the Mummers. I think it's so Philadelphia and so cool. And I have a son moving right in the heart of Mummertown down on South Street.
Love it.
Or 2nd Street, I should say. I love that stuff. What's some of your obsessions? Also, give me an underrated legend in your mind. Now, that's kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Underrated legend. But like, all right, I bring up Dumph. I think most of us would be like, oh, yeah, he is a legend.
Yeah.
Like, I had somebody
but
on
maybe
here.
it doesn't come to first mind.
What's that?
Maybe it was not the first to mind.
Right,
That's
exactly.
what you mean.
Like, I brought up Barkan. It just jumped in my head. Somebody on here, and this is fine. I'm not a real big fan of Barkan's. But, yeah, you're right. He is a legend.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. Legends aren't always loved or liked in some instances. But so a couple of questions that we have out there for you just to get this Monday going on a fun note, Aim, because that's what we're all about.
Fun.
We're all about the fun. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob Cooney today, along with Amy Fadul. We'll be back at you right after this. Hope you're keeping good thoughts in your mind and good actions going on as we start the week off with some banter kind of all around. And we were talking obsessions a lot today. What are you obsessed with? I came across the perfect on our Twitter timeline, the perfect person who's obsessed with something, and it's part of his name that we know him by, Euro John. Kind of obsessed with the European way and style and people of basketball in a way that it's like unhealthy.
Yeah.
Because not only is he obsessed with it, he's 9 times out of 10 wrong about it.
He's fixated on it.
He is so fixated on it, and it's crazy. And he's going on a rant today about, I think his rant is probably comparing Joel Embiid to a European player. Oh, there it is. Comparing him to Jokic. Yeah. So,
I mean,
Amy just rolled her eyes and sunk her head deeper into her shoulders.
Cannot have nice things.
Apparently, he reached out to Tyrone as well with this rant.
Listen,
No way, really? He called?
that's what we say. Comparison is the
Hook
thief
shots,
of joy.
Ty? Did he bring up hook shots?
I think it's an email he got on this one.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. I
Really
just,
dive into it.
Look, I appreciate that somebody has knowledge of Europe, but when you start just stating crap, like that becomes a bad obsession. A bad obsession. Who was the player that we named? Oh, raising a conversation. But there was a guy with the Orlando Magic. You came up with his name, right? A guard.
Mario Hezonja.
Hezonja.
And you know, he got in touch with you. He goes, I don't know why you're so down on Hezonja. He's going to average 20 points in this league. I was like, come on, stop. And see,
Yeah.
now that obsession is just weird.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and
We were trucking along, and then you just exited.
if you can kind of see that Joel Embiid doesn't have the same game as Jokic, I don't like. You don't have to go to
apples to
Europe
oranges.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're getting some other talk about legends here. Somebody said Buddy Ryan, although he doesn't deserve to be, he is a legend.
I think people regard him.
You had a great line.
Yeah, I said I think people regard him as one, but I think that his defense with the Bears was legendary, but he's not a legend.
That's a great way of putting it. Jim Gardner, yes, absolute legend, no question about that. Sonny Hill,
Legend.
absolute legend there. We have some pretty good ones around. No, Hank Baskett is not.
There's people that are legends in their own mind. Does that count?
Yeah, you can be legend. Like somebody says, yeah, you can have legends. People are bad legends, like Billy the Kid and Jesse James. They're legendary, I would say.
Legendary.
Yeah, legends. To me, a legend is a.
Would you say
is a good
like
person.
that '93 Phillies team? Bunch of legends.
No.
Exactly, but people will say that's a legendary team. They overcame. That they had a
Legendary season.
There you go.
Can we go there?
We could go there.
Can we make it as
It's kind
small
of a
as
blip.
possible?
Just don't talk about them at all.
yeah.
But there's people that regard that's their favorite team of all time.
I know, and you know, it's look, it is a great
It's a
story.
great team.
Worst to first, beer drinkers, you know, having fun, all that stuff. Getting to the World Series and losing on a team that you never expected. That was a legendary season.
All right.
You know, legendary players. Yeah, while that's fun talking about how they stayed till 2 a.m. drinking, they also got in a very serious car accident that could have taken the lives of a couple of them because they were out drinking and they decided to get into a car and stuff like that. But just some legends. It's pretty cool, and I brought it up because I ran into Fandom this weekend. We're also talking about being obsessed, and Ray, you say we have a text on that?
Yeah, this city's obsession with people liking us. This is someone chiming in with a long diatribe that I'm not going to go all the way deep into, but the whole no one likes us, we don't care thing, they are against. They agree, much like you agreed earlier in this program with one John Kincade, but not in this instance. I know you don't agree with him, but they agree with John in the no one likes us, we don't care thing is BS, and that we care a lot about people liking our city and liking us as a fan base.
I agree with John on that. I do agree with him on that.
Oh, you do? Wow, that's twice in one day. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Bob.
I have no problem. Voodrew on our YouTube page said, damn it, Bob. Hank was a joke. I knew it was a joke.
Yeah,
it was a
that's why
good
you had
one.
to say it,
Hank
though.
Basket was a good one, Voodrew. Yeah, I'm not putting you down, not at all. Sean in Levittown has a legend and an obsession. Maybe he's obsessed with this legend. Yeah, it could be. Sean, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good. In my opinion, I think the legend in this city could be Al Morganti because of the Flyers talk he's done for so long. For me, when it came to before and after every Flyers game, watching the post-game, pre-game live, I would always listen to him, and because he knew what he was talking about for so long.
It's like Amy for the Sixers.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Amy Fitzgerald just for the Sixers. Correct.
Thanks, Sean.
Right. Exactly.
You're welcome. And I would say, too, for an obsession, overall, for me, it's just Phillies baseball in general. Growing up, watching baseball with my dad all those years, it's just, it became an obsession for me because I've helped coach with him, and it's given me some pointers to become a better coach and a better person around kids as well.
Yeah, that's anytime you can incorporate your dad. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
I think that's true for a lot of people.
What's that?
The obsession with Phillies being a family type of, joint venture.
Yeah.
It started with your dad or your grandfather, and they carried the obsession on through. This is what you do in the summer.
Yeah. I don't have many memories. My dad worked weird hours being a newspaper man, so I don't have many memories of watching games with him. I do remember one thing that stuck out in my mind, though, and it was close like this time of the year. The Flyers were in the playoffs, and the Phillies had a game, and it was the same time. And I remember I was laying on the floor, and I had one of the games on TV and one of them on the radio. And he was like, Bob. And I got up, and I said, I know, I'll go do my homework. He says, No. The Flyers in the playoffs. You put them on the TV, and you put the Phillies on the radio. Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, my fault. I don't have any homework, by the way. Yeah,
we're all good.
Yeah, we're all good. But
that call made me think, though, Ray Didinger, legend.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question.
Made me think of that when he said that.
Legendary stories with Ray also. Maybe some of them are true, but, we used to have a thing where we did in the paper, we would do our college football and pro football picks. So there'd be some guys at the paper that would pick every week, so we'd have to submit our picks in and all that. Ray was notorious for forgetting to do his picks, so somebody would have to call him or whatever. So one person
on his house phone.
Yes, of course, because he doesn't have a cell phone. So somebody complained, I'm not going to say Bob Vitrone's name, but somebody complained about, oh, God, I got to call Ray every week for his picks or whatever. And our boss, Pat McClune, I believe looked at him and said, you're going to complain about that? Ray missed deadline, a 2 a.m. deadline one time for a 1 o'clock Eagles game. I don't know if he was exaggerating a little bit or it was totally true. I don't know. I do know Ray has told me the story of being locked inside, I believe it was Cardinal Stadium, after a Phillies game because he just kept writing and writing and writing, and they closed the place down.
I could see that.
And he couldn't get out of there. But, yeah. And also, next thing you say about Ray Didinger, just a great guy.
Absolutely.
I mean, just like a salt-of-the-earth great guy. Yes. So we're talking legends. We're talking obsessions today. All those different things are coming up because we're looking to have a fun Monday. Not that the sports world is bad at all. I mean, the Phillies, they took 2 or 3 from the Marlins. They seem to take every series. Ray, I think you had it in your update, or maybe it was Connor. They haven't lost a series since the second series of the season.
Yeah, it was Connor since that April 1st to 3rd against the Reds. So it's been a while. And 4 sweeps already as well. It's been good. We're not used to this much fun this early.
This early. I think we talked to Matt Gell, but I think that's why people are kind of looking for reasons to not, tell me why I shouldn't be excited, because they are excited.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think we did this conversation a little bit last week, and I know I've heard it across the station of, expectations changing. I don't really have a change in expectation for this group because we looked at the schedule and we thought, okay, if there was ever a year for them to get off to a hot start, this was going to be that year. The schedule led to it. You had your guys available in spring training and actually ready to go when the season started. I've kind of felt like this was something. Now, again, I didn't think 700 baseball, but I thought we'd be sitting here talking about a team that had 20-plus wins at this point in the season, was humming along, was having a good start. It's been fun to watch it and even more fun than I anticipated, but this is still a team I think the expectation's the same.
Expectations is interesting, yeah, because if they were having a bad year and then turn things around, you're like, oh, man, come on, get in the playoffs. Cool, they got in the playoffs. You expected this year for this Phillies team to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I don't know where I expected them to be a top team in all of baseball. I don't know what my expectations were, but I love this run.
Yeah, I don't know that was on the radar, right?
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. Was it? And should
I felt like it was. I felt like this
team in baseball. Through the first week and a half of May.
I mean, again, they're not far off of where they should be. I think they'd have the best record. No, I wouldn't have come out and said that. But they'd be one of the top records. It's going to be them, the Braves, the Dodgers is the 3 that I would have seen at the top of the National League, and that's kind of where you're at. Look at the American League, and I think you've seen the Orioles play to what you would kind of expect them to do. You expected them to have a big year, and you started to pick apart where some of the top contenders were, and I think the Phillies were always a part of that conversation. It's just cool to see them humming right now. And we've seen them have stretches like this. You just haven't seen it reflect in the record because they've been pulling themselves out of holes. We've seen them play to this level of baseball, but it's been oh, well, now they're getting themselves back to 500 with this type of play. So, no, they just did it from the jump this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes it a lot nicer early in the year that you're not playing catch up.
That's why we're like looking for why not?
Yeah,
we're looking for it.
Yeah, we are, and it is funny. Like there really is nothing going on now. Now look, do I think like Matt Gelb said earlier from the Athletic, I don't think that Ranger Suarez is going to go undefeated this year. I don't think he's going to have an ERA hovering around 1.5 all year long. Like some of those things will change. You have to look at the bigger picture. I think it's sustainable, like Matt said, that the starting 4-5 pitching for the Phillies is going to be really good this year. I just think that's sustainable. And when it's not good, you have a team that can hit pretty well. Like yesterday was the case. You got 4 innings out of your best pitcher and 6 runs. That's an anomaly. But they still almost could have, should have won that game.
Yeah, they could have. And I think that's where you looked at it like, oh, well, they scored 6 runs. It was an off day for Zach Wheeler for a myriad of different reasons, probably. And you thought they still hit. Bullpen came in. Bullpen hasn't been able to, you haven't forced the issue with them early on like we had you've seen in years past, right? Last year and the year before, where that bullpen pretty taxed by the time August rolls around. That was the first time you really had to use them to the extent 6-7 pitchers yesterday.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah, and they were phenomenal. It was funny because it was brought up on the morning show. Oh, did they have to go to Alvarado because you could have kept Turnbull in there? And then I looked up. I was like, damn, has Alvarado been overused lately? He's only pitched 2 innings in like a week.
Sometimes you just got to get him work.
Or more than a week. Yeah, so exactly. And that kind of played out yesterday. You got him somewhere. Yeah. Now Strom's pitched a couple of games. Okay, he's a lefty. All left-handers know that they're going to be specialized. And sometimes that may take putting him in 2 days in a row. All right, we got a couple more on the legendaries. I'll tell you what, Aim, you and I are awfully blessed having been around a lot of legends in this city because people are naming more. Bernard Hopkins got mentioned.
Okay, yeah.
I agree with that. Hank Gathers, that's a tough one. I mean, such a young death. A legend usually is around longer, so that's tough. And that has nothing to do against Hank Gathers and all that. That's a different scenario. That's a night that I'll never, ever forget where you were when all that happened. Harry Callis, of course, is an obvious one. We've been around. You and I have been around an awful lot.
Fun.
So we're talking both of them, obsessions and legends today. Do you have them? Do you mind that some people are called legends? Do you mind that there is some obsessions in this city that you might not care for? All that and a whole lot more. We got Amy Fadul here until 2 o'clock. I'm Bob Cooney, middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays approaching the 1 o'clock hour. Hey, I want to tell you about the Fanatic Deal of the Week. Check it out. You can get a $100 gift card to New Jersey Motorsports Park for just $50. It's located in Millville, New Jersey. Aim, who's from Millville? Isn't there somebody from Millville? I don't know. Yeah.
Pretty famous.
You'll be able to experience high-speed thrills with arrive and drive go-karting, plus axe throwing, and a wide-ranging menu at the Finish Line Pub. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Okay, we're talking obsessions today. We're talking legends today. There's so many things going on. I can't believe how blessed we are. And you started naming some of the people that I worked at the Daily News with. My God.
Stan Hockman, Jasner.
Oh, my God. There's so many, yeah. Mike Kern in his own mind is a legend.
Colonel.
I mean, you ask him, he'll tell you. He is the great. I want to give a shout out to one of my coworkers at the Daily News now that we're talking about. Bernard Fernandez lost his wife Ann last week to cancer, and a struggle that she went through for a while. So our prayers go out to Bernie, thinking of you, buddy, and hope everything goes well there. But some other legends that we've been talking about here. I think Jim Gardner may be the most no bull. Yeah, that and Ray, as you said, Ray Didinger, two of the probably most no duh. I have one, since we were talking about this subject a little bit earlier. I should say this school maybe a little bit earlier. How about Jay Wright?
Legend.
Yeah?
I mean, how is he not? You look and see what he did there, built that program, 2 national titles, numerous Final Fours, and then you see what the first thing when people start talking, not just us here in Philadelphia, nationally, when they start talking about the success you're seeing with the Knicks because of guys like Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, it's the next word out of their mouth, Jay Wright.
Yeah.
They're this way because, now, it's not saying they haven't done anything in their own right and they've not had any coaching, because I'm sure Rick Brunson would take a lot of credit for the reason Jalen has turned out the way that he has. But you can't ignore the fact that Jay Wright is the common denominator with guys that, were second-round picks, late first-round picks. Dante was the highest pick, was 17.
Yeah.
Josh Hart, very end of the first round. Jalen Brunson, beginning of the second round.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, there's a common denominator.
Yeah.
But then you could go with Chaney.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think John Chaney's absolutely a legend. Yeah, and it's as much as how they build it. Like Jay Wright won championships. Yes, he built a culture. He built Villanova basketball. Now you had like Raleigh Massimino when he was there. That was, I remember growing up and watching those teams. Villanova was the school when Raleigh was there that always just played well come tournament time. And they were always good during the regular season, but then come tournament time, like it was no surprise that they Sweet 16 and an Elite 8 and then, eventually getting it in 85 against Georgetown and winning it all. Like those guys are legends. They built things. Besides being great coaches, they built things. And
your name carries weight. A legend has whether it's a good weight or a bad weight, there's weight to that name. So when you say their name, you're like, oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I can't believe how many legends we've been around, lucky enough to be around.
Philadelphia's got a lot.
Yeah, in our lifetime. Some of the names that were mentioned earlier, Sonny Hill, Bernard Hopkins. One of the most memorable interviews I was involved in. Bernard Hopkins was in New York City getting ready for a fight that upcoming weekend when 9/11 happened. And, it was downtown New York when everything went down and with 9/11. And we had Daily News Live was canceled for a couple of days. And then the first show back, I was fortunate enough to be on with Michael. And Bernard Hopkins was our guest and just telling us, and to see, this guy, I'd say middle of his career, he fought until he was like 107. But to just be like brought down by an event like that. I don't mean brought down. We all were. But I mean, this guy was at a pinnacle of his career with a huge fight coming up. That was an interview that I'll never forget. So, absolute legend. I agree.
Kobe?
With that. Kobe, legend. Yeah,
but I'd
absolutely.
say he was a legend before he even got to the status of out there in L.A. People talk about him at Lower Merion with legendary type of chatter.
Yeah. I love seeing people that are like, yeah, I was on Kobe's team at Lower Merion, and there's one guy I think that wrote a book I know Sealski wrote a book on Kobe, but I thought there was another guy that played with Kobe at Lower Merion that may have wrote a book about it. But, Ray, we have some texts about legends, and we also have a poll up, I understand.
Yeah, so text line wanted you to mention, Jared from Nebraska checked in saying Uncle Frank is a legend.
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Quote.
Yeah, Coach Quote.
Coach Quote.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Coach Quote.
Coach Quote.
I hesitate on calling Uncle Frank a legend. He's got to be around a little while longer to become a legend.
What? Around a little while longer. Jeez, Uncle Frank's been around a bit.
All right, I'm just,
No,
maybe he needs more body of work.
Age joke, not an actual caller quality joke.
Yeah.
For you. All right. Also, another text that we got on this one had both an obsession and a legend. We might be too obsessed with not adapting to changes in sports. For example, big men shooting threes. I can also think of a certain 3 words that were uttered during the season in football: run the ball, something that we have not adapted to at all. But
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I don't mind. Yeah, the Eagles need to run the ball more. Flyers got to shoot more on the power play. Yeah, I agree with that.
We're kind of set in the way we think about things. We don't adapt to changing sports landscapes as quickly, maybe.
No, I think I agree with you on that one.
And the legendary person they had was Mark Zumoff.
Oh, yeah.
Zoo's
like that
a legend. Yes. And since you brought up Mark Zumoff, who did Ray get a beautiful text from saying what a great job he did?
Yeah, literally right as the game ended. It was a very,
Big
very
union
nice.
guy.
Yeah,
Big
he is
union
big
guy.
union.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was really
yeah.
cool to get that.
We have
text from
another
him.
legend I'll get to real quick. Oh, it's unbelievable how many
We
we've
also
been
get
around.
the poll. Don't forget about the poll.
How about, I know, Dawn Staley.
Oh, yeah. That's actually the first person that came into my mind when you said underrated, not like underrated, but like maybe not thought of as quickly, just because she has won at every single level.
Yeah, and not like she hasn't done it here.
But you've
but
admired
yeah.
it from
oh
here.
my God, yeah.
Like obviously they talk about her at Dobbins and everything like that. How she would play with the boys. That was legendary. And so she goes to UVA and wins. And she goes to gold medal, coach and player wins.
Right.
What she's done at South Carolina, winning, just constant winning.
Yeah. And so how's our poll going today, Ray?
Yeah, our poll from the opening of this show: how has watching the second round of the NBA playoffs made you feel about the Sixers? 2 options in this one: closer to a title, further from a title. Further from a title. Right now, it's 66% of the vote. So 2 out of 3 people feel further from a title watching the second round. 1 out of 3 feel closer to a title.
Why that surprised me?
I guess I'm trying to think this out. I guess it shouldn't because they really don't have a team right now. I mean, they have 2 players. So I don't know how close to a title they are. Yeah, they have 2 players.
I don't know. Maybe that made me feel a little bit more optimistic because they have a blank slate to create and craft.
That certainly is a way of looking at it.
Right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're running the gamut here today. There's everything going on. I have some Eagles talk that I want to bring up because the NFL schedule does come out on Wednesday. I love it. I love when it comes out, planning out, see what, who's playing who, when, where you're going to be when a certain game's going to be played, where you might go to see a certain game played. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Also, we're obsessed with this legendary stuff today. We're going to keep going with it.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to keep going with it. Amy Fadul's with us. We got another hour to go here before the best show ever. I'm Bob Cooney, middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays, Bob Cooney, along with Amy Fadul today. Amy's going to be joining us pretty much all week. Tomorrow for a little bit, all day Wednesday,
all day Friday.
Yeah, just one day in there where she's sneaking off on us, and that'll be on Thursday. But we'll make out because today's only Monday.
That's right.
And everything is going well so far. All right, I was sharing something with Amy during the break that I have a sneak-away sport. Like we all watch, hockey, baseball, basketball, football. We are all obsessed, let's say.
This is not a sport. This is a competition.
It's a sport. So, all right, we'll put it out there. So there's something that I watch when I get away from sports. I still do like to watch competition. You're right. Okay, we'll call it competition. And it is my sneak getaway. I love to watch it. And that's fishing. Any type. If somebody's throwing a line in the water with the possibility of catching something and they're showing it on TV, most likely they're going to catch something. Otherwise, they wouldn't be showing it on TV. But I'm all in. So Sunday nights, I love it when the sports are over. I turn on Wicked Tuna. I love watching these guys catch fish. I love seeing the lines go out, all of that.
Now, that's a different thing than what I was like. You're looking like a Deadliest Catch type of vibe.
Yeah. Deadliest Catch is another one because it is a competition because they're competing to get money.
Oh, yeah.
And they're competing against each other.
I thought you were talking about you're watching like a bass fishing competition.
No, but I do like them.
Okay.
Also, except the guys that cheat and put weights in the dead fish.
Right? Oh,
that's not right. That's so wrong. But I do. It's my sneak-away sport. Fishing is my sneak-away sport. And my mother-in-law last night was like, why? You don't fish. I don't. I like to fish. I have fished.
You have an appreciation for it, though.
But I could sit out on a back bay all day long and throw in a line. I love the crab. I've gone crabbing with my brother-in-law. It's not just, I think I've told you this before, it's not just dropping a basket down in the water. No, we do 1,500-foot trot lines.
Yeah.
That are end-to-end with chicken necks every 3 feet that are hooked on there. So when we go down and we run the line over and over and over again, we're really crabbing. So, yeah, I love to do that. Do you have a sneak-away sport?
I actually watched this for a bit yesterday.
We're not talking beer pong.
And that's just a general on a Tuesday. Tennis.
Yeah.
And I know it's still obviously a legitimate sport, but I'm talking about like a random tennis tournament that happens to be on like a Sunday morning that's not one of the majors. Like a WTA event. I just have an appreciation. I think it's because I grew up. My mom was a big tennis player, still is. My sister, very good tennis player. They were very good in high school. My sister was like state champ and different things. So very good at tennis. I was not. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe I had a bigger appreciation for it. And we would always just watch tennis.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching golf. That to me, that's not a sneak away sport. I think tennis, like a random tennis tournament, is a bit of a sneak away.
A random tennis, that's
like
sneaky.
A WTA event. That
how about that?
Like a random hard court or a clay court somewhere in the middle of they're playing down in Hilton Head. People aren't really watching.
They're in
that
Cincinnati this
week.
week.
What are they doing there? All right, let's just watch it.
On tennis tournaments, the majors, yeah. Like I used to, I loved and hated the U.S. Open at the same time. Loved it because it was cool and you had 7 o'clock tennis matches.
Yeah.
Sometimes, go until 11 and all that. Hated it because it always came about at the beginning of school. So you knew summer was over.
Yeah,
you get that crispness in the air. I didn't like that because I love the summertime. I used to get up for Wimbledon early every Saturday.
Yeah.
Loved watching that.
Yep.
I kind of fell off with tennis, and I don't like that I did, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of draw. I mean, when I was first watching it, which was when my mom would get us up and be like, "All right, let's watch Wimbledon," and you would have it was in the late '80s, early '90s, and you have the Boris Beckers and Andre Agassi.
Yeah,
it was really exciting.
Pete Sampras.
And I mean, these guys were dominating.
Michael Chang.
And then you had Monica Seles and Steffi Graf. And I think that there was a bit of a lull as far as like a real dominating personality. And when Serena and Venus Williams came to be, I think I kind of went back in.
Right.
And then since they've kind of now been on the waning side, it's been a little bit harder to get back in because there's not that real dominating personality. For the men's, I think that you're seeing the end of Rafa Nadal and things like that.
Yeah.
The Joker is out there still, but it's not the same. So you need those personalities to drive it. And for a while, we had some very strong American personalities, which made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, we don't really have very good American. Now, you had Stevenson, who was, what's that, Dr. J's daughter?
Yes.
Isn't that her name, Stevenson? Then you have the, I'm I'm going to mispronounce it. Groff?
Coco Gauff.
Goff. Yeah,
Yes.
Coco Goff.
Coco Gauff.
Who is exciting to watch, especially come U.S. Open time because she seems to play really well there. Ray, do you have a sneakaway sport, something you like watching that might be off a little bit the beaten path?
Amy just shot down my sneakaway sport with golf because that's like the one.
That's your sneakaway?
Yeah, I don't really venture too far off the beaten path, honestly. Like, I find myself, I can consume pretty much any version of basketball, football, baseball. Like, and also I feel like this is the time of year for a nice sneak-away sport, and I'm just probably going to choose baseball anyways.
Yeah.
But I look at golf, and I enjoy just getting a tournament there, finding a random person I'm watching and being like, oh, yeah, this guy's got it today. Or just watching a shot and being like, that was beautiful. It ends up in the trees, or that one's got no shot of being made in on the putt, and then that one obviously drops in. I love just watching it with the illusion of like, oh yeah, absolutely. You give me a couple months, I could train. I could get into that.
I could do that.
Yeah, I can make it. I can make it happen.
That's where I'm like, nope, that's a different sport than what I play.
The worst time to watch golf. When is the worst time to watch golf? Because I have the rock solid answer here.
When you're getting ready to go play?
When you've just played.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because you come out and you might feel good about yourself. Like, I shot an 84. All right, I'm really happy. And then you sit down and you go, oh, my God, these guys are unbelievable.
The best is when they say what club they're using. I'm like, don't do that. They'll put it up there. Oh, they've got a 5-iron.
Yeah, from
240.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like every once in a while they put one in the trees and it's like, look
makes
at
you
that.
feel good.
Look at you. Like I don't hit anyone with mine. You just, drilled someone. That's
no one's
that's
watching
on you.
us play.
Well, I
Thankfully.
attract quite the crowd when
thankfully.
I play. Mostly because people want to see whether or not I'm going to actually hit it and make contact. But, it is quite a crowd.
So it is unbelievable how good these guys are, and I'll give you an example. So I was asked to cover the it used to be called the Nike Tour, I think. So it's now called something else. But it's the guys that are trying to get into
trying to get their
trying to get their cards, whatever. So they were playing a tournament over in Jersey, and I went over to cover it. One of my best friends from growing up, his cousin was playing in it. Now, his cousin was a club pro, was trying to make it on tour. I think he made one tour tournament or whatever. But anyway, he got done. I talked to him, and he said, I'm going to go hit a bucket of 7-irons. And I said, 7 irons and what? A bucket of 7 irons. He says, yeah, I really haven't been shaping the 7-iron the way I want to, so I'm going to work on it. So he says, if you need me for anything, just let me know. So he hits about 10 shots from right to left. He hits 10 other shots from left to right. He hits 10 down the middle. He hits 10 high. He hits 10 left. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I stop him. I'm like, are you off or are you just, I knew what he was doing. And he's like, yeah, I got to learn to shape this club better. I just don't shape it the way I want. I said, okay, how many shots did I just watch you that you didn't hit the way you wanted? He goes, yeah, I'm like 60-40. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is how good these guys are. Exactly. This guy never even really made the tour.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So
it's a different level.
Fascinate. Have you been to a lot of golf tournaments?
Yeah, I've been to a number. We like to go when they've obviously come around here quite a bit. There's a couple more that are coming. The only one I wanted to go to, I didn't get to go to, was the BMW down in Delaware. I wanted to go see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I saw a tournament at Aronimink.
Yeah, I saw that
was Tiger's tournament, right? Because I remember interviewing him at Aronimink.
Yes, he's the one. It was because his tournament's usually at Congressional, and Congressional was hosting the U.S. Open. So for 2 years, they had it up here at Aronimink.
Exactly.
Yes, and then Marion hosted the Open.
Yeah, the week of that was cool. We started covering. This was when the Daily News was in its prime. I think there was 8 of us down there from the Daily News covering, and every day we came up.
Yeah, we were doing live
I
shows.
remember sitting down on a show with Neil Hartman, and we would. This is how great our staff was. We had our lead guy that was Mike Kern, who was our golf writer, and then we all would come in with different ideas every day. All right, how about this? And our boss would be like, no, Rich Hoffman at the time was our boss. No, yes, wait, let's talk about something else. Boom, boom. And we were there from Tuesday till Sunday. And it was so cool to walk Marion every single day. I followed Tiger on one round. I was actually following Rory in a practice round and was talking to his dad while we were walking the fairway. And it was right after Rory had won, I believe, a British Open.
Yeah.
And his dad, remember, won a bunch of money by betting on him or something?
Yeah, there was something like that.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the story was, but his dad was a real nice guy. But golfing might be the most of all the sports that we have all covered that I watch live that I say, my God, there's no way I could do that.
No.
And it sounds weird because you're just standing there hitting a ball that isn't moving. But these
Seems
guys
so
are
simple.
incredible.
But like to Ray's point, there's so many other storylines. When you go out to a golf tournament, you can just pick a random guy and be like, oh, let's see what he's doing right now. And that guy could. I remember Chris Kirk when the Tigers tournament, the AT&T was at Aronimink. He went low one day. There's like a shot, finished in with a 63, and I thought, that's amazing. Like, oh, go, make sure you go interview him. And we did. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if Chris Kirk is shooting a 63, what other scores are we going to see? No offense to Chris Kirk, but like that wasn't a guy that everybody was talking about.
Right.
I mean, everybody's going to go low. And you saw like Ricky Fowler got a 63, and so it was like, okay, now we got it.
I thought the best thing about Marion, sorry, real quick, Ray, was the winning score, I think, was a 2-under.
Yeah, I mean, that's a typical U.S. Open, isn't it?
It was so cool that the course was so demanding. Go ahead, Ray.
I just want to go back to something you just said. You covered the NBA for how many years?
Yeah, and he thinks he could play. He's like, I can do that.
I didn't say I could play in the NBA. I was saying, I'm sorry, I'm not on you. Maybe I misinterpreted this. There was fewer things I watched through my career in an NBA that I thought, oh my God, than there were on the many golf things that I've been
I just
on,
think
maybe.
the idea.
Maybe because I've been around basketball more than golf.
It's not like, wow, how could you say this? It's just more hilarious to me. The idea that you got watch guys dunk on a nightly basis, and the one thing that strikes you as I couldn't do was swinging the golf club like that.
I bet you could hit a free throw in an NBA game.
I bet he could hit a free throw. I'm talking strictly watching people dunk.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, you do have an appreciation for the athleticism, all that. I'm not putting it down.
No, I'm not saying you're putting it down at all.
But when you see it so much and there's so many people that could do it, you know, like I like following around Tiger Woods, and this was when he wasn't playing well at all. When it came to Marion, remember? He wasn't playing well at all. And I followed him for 18 holes, and even though he wasn't playing well, it was still remarkable. Like, my God, he's doing things out here that nobody else still right now in the world could do. In basketball, a lot of people – I'll tell you the one thing that does stand out in my mind, Ray, that you bring it up of something that I watched while I was covering the NBA and thought, wow, and that was Steph Curry's warm-ups.
Oh, there's –
like the dribbling, the shooting, the different things that he does, and then standing in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Not knowing that he was finishing his workout by shooting one. So I'm getting ready to walk off, and I see him coming, and he had a ball in his hand. So I said, I'll just stop and steer clear in case he's either coming back to the locker room or he's doing something, or if there was a lot of players coming, I didn't know. Turns around and shoots from there, and I run real quick to see it go in. Then he just, runs right past me like nothing happened.
Yeah.
I made sure every time the Sixers played Golden State that I watched his warm-up. That was one thing that kind of stuck out in my mind, but – What do you think is a sports undoable that you could watch?
Oh, me? Every time I watch a baseball game and see a guy take a swing, if you sequence the back-to-back 100-mile-per-hour fastball to the 87-mile-per-hour slider, and you look that they're both, similar mechanics and they're both moving down pretty much the same plane, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to criticize that guy tomorrow for not being able to read that, but there's not a way in the world that I would be able to make contact with that one.
Yeah, hardest thing to do in sports?
I would think so. Hit a moving ball going any kind of miles per hour? Absolutely. We're just talking about how golf seems so simple. That is a stationary ball.
Still, yeah.
And it's still impossible. It never does what we want it to do.
Yeah, he should just bunt that 100-mile-per-hour fastball that perfectly down the first base line.
The best is when we yell at them, step into one. Yeah, okay.
No, that's my favorite. My roommate loves that one. Oh, just wear it. Just wear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like Coach and Cheers. On my way to first.
Yeah.
Ray, we have a text message about something that we have been discussing. Am I correct on that?
You are correct on that. Getting back to the legend conversation, also with an obsession. So we got, the legend, Pat Croce, was the one that came up.
Ooh.
Huh.
I'm going to say yes because he saw us doing our show down for Allen Iverson.
Done.
He looked and he's like, "Yo, Bob," and I was like, "Yeah, come on." And then so he came on air.
Legend for that alone.
I'll give him a legend on that. I'll give him a legend for jumping out of an airplane, landing, and then turning to me with my recorder in hand because he had just said he wanted to own the Sixers or the Flyers or whatever. I forget what endeavor he was searching for then. But Pat Croce, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'd give him legendary status.
All right, then the obsession goes to the Sixers. I'm not sure what our obsession with the Sixers having a dog on the team. We've already had a few already, and none of them have made any of the impact players play any better or develop any of their own dog.
Are you talking Franklin or dog player?
No, like a dog. Like they said they need to get that dog. Well,
yeah. They had a couple
People
of
are still going to be wondering where hip-hop is. I mean, let's just be honest. But
somebody brought that up the other day.
Was
it you?
People love hip-hop.
No, it wasn't
They miss
Ray.
hip-hop quite a bit, which makes no sense because he's a rabbit. But anyway, I think that there's something to that as far as, like, being obsessed with, because there hasn't been the last couple of off seasons. We need that killer instinct, that guy that's got that dog in him. And it has not translated into the players having any more of that, I don't think, yet.
Yeah, I like a dog who's a good basketball player.
Yeah,
I don't need PJ Tucker to be my dog.
Pat Bev.
Or Pat, I don't need them to be my dogs.
Kelly Oubre has got that dog in him.
Kelly Oubre's a little bit doggish.
Yeah, he's got
I
that.
like the grin that he gave when he got two-handed shoved into the ground. He just smiled
I think
at
he
it.
loved playing at the Garden.
Yeah. Here's a legend that we talked about earlier on the line, Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Happy Monday, squad.
You too, buddy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi. By the way, Josh said someone called me a legend.
Yes.
Yes. You're
Just
reaching
swallow
legendary
it.
status. I said I had to give you more time before I was able to put you up on legend status.
My shoulders are around, guys. I can handle it. By the way, Dumps is absolutely a legend. And
Yes.
Amy, I think, like you said, he's just a wonderful human being. My God.
Yes, he is. What's your
So-
obsession, Frank?
Bobby, your topic is near and dear to me since I take meds for OCD. So, sure, that's shocking. So,
Did you take them today?
I did.
Okay. Just making sure.
Maybe they wore off. Other than my daily obsession, my sport obsession, and this is good. I mean, I've been obsessed for a while. Comparing my sports idols from when I was my childhood, how they would translate in today's game.
Playing in different eras, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chamberlain to me, back they would say he's too slow. He was an incredible athlete. Jack Ramsey said he's incredibly strong. Jim Brown, how he would translate, and also my all-time favorite athlete, Willie Mays, who I know would translate into today's game because he had so many damn tools in his baseball tool belt that he was just incredible. So
no, that's a cool obsession, Frank. I appreciate it. Thanks so much
like
for the
that
call.
obsession.
That is a cool obsession because my dad was the first that ever brought that up to me about players from other eras playing in this one. And it was at a time, I think it was before the Sixers signed Moses Malone. So, like, I was a little kid. And my dad said, Wilt Chamberlain could have given the Sixers, could give the Sixers, 20 minutes off the bench. And I was like, oh, really? He, as good as he was back then, he wouldn't be that good today? He goes, no, I'm talking about 2 days. He's 55 years old. He could give him 20 minutes off the bench. But Stan Hochman, as you mentioned earlier, would pull me aside and tell me Wilt Chamberlain stories, which I always thought was
those guys watched
so
them.
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
It's not just like they looked at the stats or heard stories about him. They were there. So when I'm on with Jim Lynam and he tells me something that Joel Embiid does, it's reminiscent for him of Wilt. It's coming from a place of knowledge because
you kind of listen.
He watched Wilt play pickup games on playgrounds for Pete's sake.
That is just unbelievable.
I can't
isn't
imagine.
It?
I cannot imagine how cool that must have been.
Speaking of legends,
yes,
Jimmy Lynam.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, I've just gotten to know him so much from our interactions and working there for. This is my 16th year, and the real legendary status for me when Jim Lynam achieved it is when we would be doing these 48 and 50-minute post-game shows after the Sixers got shellacked during the process era. And we couldn't even talk about the team after a while because it didn't matter. They weren't built to be an NBA team. Hey, let's talk about some kids in the draft. Let's talk about the other team, whatever. And so when you're filling time after a game like that, the Raptors beat you by 42 and you've got 48 minutes to fill, you achieve that status with me pretty quickly. Because Jim, you can ask him two or three questions. Bill Clement was the same way. Loved Bill Clement. These guys, they'll talk till they're blue in the face about whatever you need.
How about that? Yeah, Jimmy, absolutely the legend. We love him. We adore him. Always will be a legend in our minds. All right, when we get back, I teased it before. We're going to talk a little bit about Wednesdays coming up. NFL schedule is going to be released. I know it doesn't really mean much right now, but I think it does. I think it means more to this Eagles team this year than it has a lot in previous years, and I'll let you know why. Amy Fadul's here with us until 2 o'clock when it comes the best show ever. I'm Bob Cooney, 97.5 Middays. Welcome back, 1:30 here on Middays. As we're kind of all over the place, Amy Fadul does that. She'll come in and we have a show sheet ready to go, and she
And
just starts spouting off.
Forget it. I got all these other ideas. No,
she rips it up, and, we just follow her lead on what's going on. But we are talking about a lot of different things, and when we went into the hallway, where it gets a little bit crowded now, it's the best show ever is coming up in a half hour, we started to run into some names. So I had my friend Brian, who bought my old house. And has remained a friend of mine.
Lovely.
He texted in to me, Aaron Rowand, ?
I think that's a legendary moment.
Legendary play, even maybe, because as Ty said, and I didn't look it up, and Ty, I'm going to trust Ty on his word. They didn't win the game. It wasn't a big game.
It wasn't in the World Series.
No, the guy made a catch and actually hurt himself doing it. So if you want to be a jerk about it, legendary play because people talk about it so much. Yes. Is Aaron Rowand a legend? Absolutely.
Would that be like a bad legend? Because I think people.
I would say it's a good play. It was a memorable play.
But I feel like Rowand, people don't remember him necessarily well at times.
Yeah, like Ty said, Shane Victorino came in and was a better center fielder not long after.
He also had some big moments in games that actually mattered.
Yes, exactly. Then, of course, the big one. I don't think we've brought it up yet. Nick Foles.
See, that was one of the things that came to mind, and I said his energy is a thing of legends. I'm going to go with that. I'm just going to.
That's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
It's a great way to put it.
Thank you for
the energy of Nick Foles.
The energy.
See, my mind isn't going to where yours are, which is ridiculous. I'm talking about the.
That's
run
exactly
that
what she was talking about, though. That's why my mind went to it. Also, he's not. That's more the more understated of the two things.
I mean, he's got a statue.
The whole Super Bowl thing is pretty well stated. I think we've all pretty well went through that one number of times.
I don't know what else we're talking about besides just football play. But okay.
All right, man.
Well, that's where it is. That's
we're
where
talking
it is.
about understated legends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a legend. You win.
His appearance at FanFest, cool. Enjoyed that.
You win a Super Bowl. I think you're automatically entered into legendary status.
And it's so funny that he came up because our text about obsessions
is
Eagles backup quarterbacks.
That's a good one. We are obsessed with them. Over the course of a
they're always better than we think they are. I mean, they're always not as good as we think they are.
We want them to be better.
Yeah.
The grass is greener sometimes.
Do you think we are obsessed? Were we obsessed to have Jalen Hurts take over for Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh. I didn't. I was
always
an honest
a concern.
question.
Like, remember when the Eagles made the signing of Kenny Pickett? That's a blip of a signing. But then it was Justin Fields deal. Because so we've gotten do we have the best backup? Because I think here in Philadelphia, you know how valuable the backup can be and how they have to be.
Did Minshew Mania get its proper adulation?
It got its day.
Did it?
Yeah, it got its day. I mean, he's coming off. He's dressed as he looks like a guy from
1970s
or whatever, rolling in there.
Movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he got way too much love.
But
Minshew.
People loved it. Minshew Mania. It became a thing.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it did become a thing, but I mean, that's the obsession.
It goes back
too
a ways.
Much.
People, I mean,
I
remember when they benched McNabb for Kevin Cobb.
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was in the Ravens game. I was actually working for a Baltimore television station, and we're on the Ravens side, and people are like, "What are the Eagles doing?" They
Why
were not.
Don't I remember that?
They were not in that game. They were still in that game, and that's when Ed Reed picked off Cobb and ran it back 102 yards or something.
We had a whole thing last preseason about McKee or Mariota.
Oh, that's right. Tanner McKee or Marcus Mariota.
We were debating the backup quarterback.
That's true. It is an obsession.
It's an obsession. It's unhealthy.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to focus that much on the backup guy. I guess the worry is that if you don't focus on them at all. But there's an obsession there.
I would
That's
say
a good text.
It's actually an indictment on Marcus Mariota that this town didn't love him.
Yeah. Oh.
I think that shows you more of the quarterback he is, that there was not at all through that season. Well, there was the one moment where I forget who it was. The national talking head was like, yeah, they should sit Hurts down. I remember there was that happened late in the season. Mariota should be the quarterback. Forget which national talking head because they haven't espoused hot air recently, so they haven't got me upset. But one of them said it. And that was the only time that anyone actually called for Mariota in real life. That, to me, is an indictment on Mariota as a quarterback that I don't feel like it was as prevalent this season.
He didn't push as much?
Yeah, there was no push. There was not a strong enough push from this fan base.
Oh. All right.
Okay. If that's where we want to go. I got confused with the Nick Foles talk, to tell you the truth. So.
Bill, you still not picking up what we're putting down?
Bill on the cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, Bill?
Hey, guys, I just wanted to tell you I've never listened to a soccer game in my life. I figured, Ray's going to be on. Let me listen to it after dinner. So I turned it on, and Ray did an outstanding job. I actually was able to listen to it. Ray, very impressive. But, of course, you can only compare it to the guy speaking a foreign language that was your partner.
No.
Sebastian's awesome.
Sebastian Latu's English is coming around.
He's great. He's great. And I appreciate that, Bill, though. Thank you.
Bill, he was awesome, wasn't he?
He was awesome. I'll tell you, I actually don't even know what a corner is, but I was very impressed.
All right.
Bill, thank you so much. Really appreciate the call. You did have a couple things that I was like, oh, listen to Ray. What was it? I loved your description because it's one of my pet peeves, Aim. In basketball or football, whatever, saying, oh, they're going from our left to right. What the hell does that do for me listening on the radio? I don't know what you're left and right. I don't know where you're sitting, like that. But Ray put it perfectly. He said the Union are going from my left to right. That means they're going towards the river.
Yes, that's important because you can picture it in your head.
River end.
As the other team was going to the Chester end.
Which Dave does that a lot. Dave Leno, I'll be honest, I'd listen to a lot of their games.
Great
Yeah,
job.
he does a fantastic job. And that's also part of the reason he set me up for a ton. Like, we talked for like 45 minutes the day of the match, and he did so much for me. So I want to shout out Dave. Every time someone gives me, I want to make sure the flowers Dave deserves for the job I did they're certainly there. But that's something he does all the time, with the left to right to river end. I went with Chester end. I don't know I forget how he describes it that way. I think
away from
I was going to go
river, maybe?
Delco end. Yeah, I don't know which way you want to describe it. Not towards the river.
Yeah, away from.
But yeah, a lot of fun, Bill. I appreciate the shout out there.
Yeah.
And Sebastian, if I want to give kudos, I'm giving kudos out here. Just the nicest person in the world. Like, him walking me around, introducing me to people, showing me around everywhere. He did so much for me too. So nothing but great things to say about everyone that took care of me over the weekend.
Yeah, I thought you were absolutely fantastic. It was really cool. I was listening, because I wanted to hear the game. I don't think I have Apple TV.
You don't?
So no. So I had it on my phone listening to Ray. A, fun listening to the game, but B, I swear, I think I sat there with like a proud father smile on my face.
See, now
that's
so
how
nice.
I swear to God, that's how I felt. And I must have said it 10 times. I think my wife is sick of you, Ray. But I must have said it 10 times, like, man, he is really good. And, I got to the point of, okay, I heard you the first 9 times. Like, I don't think all of a sudden you're going to say, God, he sucks. Like, yeah, that was really good by you.
Thank you.
I
appreciate it.
Yeah.
A
And,
lot of fun.
It was cool for him to text me back like a couple of days later after I said, hey, you
was
did a
very
great job.
busy.
Oh, stop it. You were one of the first people that got a text back post-game.
Well,
you texted me early in the game. I got to work backwards. I mean, this is a timeline thing. I do not disturb on. You think I can't just be doing the text during the game?
No?
There's a lot of action happening.
I wasn't hurt.
it was.
We had 15 minutes of stoppage
Dude,
time.
I wasn't
It was a lot.
hurt. I really wasn't. It didn't bother me a little bit.
No, it didn't bother you at all.
exactly.
That's why
That's why
it
you
came
bring it up.
in the 1 o'clock hour of the show when you know you're going to
Couple
get rid
days
of me
is
in like
okay.
22 minutes. It's been a
I was
couple
going to
days.
say, it's only been 2 days.
You heard from me
Saturday,
and you heard from me yesterday.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
All
Seemed
right.
like I was an afterthought, Amy.
This
I'm just
journalist
being
is
honest.
not working in the world of fact right now.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. That's the first thing you're taught in journalism.
Correct them.
All right, Aim.
What?
On Wednesday night, the NFL schedule comes out. There's back and forth here. Like, John acts like he hates it. Like, oh, wow, what a great week, the schedule. Is everybody going to do wins and losses? Yeah, that's silly. Wins and losses is silly because you don't know who's going to be hurt. You don't know. Yeah, you look at it and you say, oh, this is a good string here. And John says it, but if you really listen to John, he does wins and losses throughout the whole season anyway. Like, he had the Eagles. Well, they're going to win the next 3 games, so therefore they're going to clinch by Thanksgiving and blah, 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 blah. So you do it. He does it more in season. Other people do it as soon as the schedule comes out. What do you look for? How do you look at a schedule when it comes out, particularly or only the Eagles? Like, when it comes out, what type of things do you look for from a schedule that
as a fan or as a journalist?
Both. Because
As a
we need to
fan?
know the full Amy Fadul.
Yeah, well, the fan, I look at, well, that would be a fun road trip. Where's everybody going for this one? Is there a sunny spot in December that I can go and make as part of a little trip, a fun trip? Are they going to L.A. or are they going to New Orleans?
Does the Fadul / Kane family do that?
We do.
Go to away games?
We do. We've been known quite a bit to travel.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. We always try to go to a Birds game. We go to several, as many as you can. Obviously, it's just not as easy as it is with our schedules and everything else, but try to go to at least one or two. We love to go to a good road and make it a fun one. We've been to Nashville. We've been to Miami. We've been to New Orleans. Where else have we gone? San Diego we did. That was a Phillies trip. Yeah, I like to go on a little adventures.
Look at you.
So that would be one.
You take the little kids, too?
It's an Eagles game, Bob. No.
He gets a weekend away. That's awesome.
Shawnee can go to a home game. We try to take him to one home game.
Yeah, I had rules with my kids, well, especially my daughter. I don't go to many Eagles like I do now with I can go and have gone and all of that stuff. But, yeah, I kind of didn't want my kids to see all that early on. Now, the boys have gone on their own when they got older. My daughter, I really never wanted to subject her to some of the stuff over there.
They're good. Everybody's in good form.
Yeah.
Shawnee's 9.
Well, just some of the stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he's 9. It's also expensive.
I'm a protective type.
So it's a little expensive sometimes to buy like 3 or 4 tickets.
Yes.
So that's like another
It's
thing.
a lot expensive.
Yeah. So we always look for like a nice warm weather destination. I think they've got their road games are Tampa, that are warm.
New Orleans.
Tampa, New Orleans, and L.A. L.A. is a little far.
And that spot of L.A. isn't great. Inglewood it's between like the airport and L.A. It's not a great – Inglewood isn't a great area. So you'd have to stay in like Santa Monica or something.
To make
and
it
then
like
cab over
you're
to
out
make
there for
it nice.
too long.
Yeah.
It depends on what time of year it is.
Right.
As the Sixers season started, little things. But that's as a fan, I look at like what's a good road trip. And also I look at how out of the gates, what are we looking at? But as a journalist, that's my number one. It's like, all right, what are we looking at out of the gates, especially this season?
Especially this season, and that was going to be my point.
Yeah,
you have to start out well this year, right, Aim?
100%. And then I look at the back half of the season, how we end in this thing. Because that was the crux of that season last year came in the middle to back half where you're playing the Niners and the Bills and the Cowboys. And it was like, okay, well, now you're 11 weeks in.
Right.
That's a tough stretch.
I always like looking pretty much first of all, where's the bye? Because I hate like a week 5 bye or I hate those early buys or real late ones. You hope that it comes more towards the middle of the season, obviously. Then I'll look holidays.
Okay.
All right, are they playing Thanksgiving? Are they playing Christmas? Which, we'll all hear, but that's the second. And then the third is the national TV games, which I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I'm still a fan. I love them being on Sunday night and all that. Maybe it's because of the job. I kind of miss the old-fashioned 1 o'clock Eagles games.
The only 1 o'clock Eagles games they had last year were those
two
Commanders
of them, right?
games. It was just the Commanders. That was the only one.
Home and away.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only two that they had.
I think that also takes a team out of its rhythm. It's hard to have a work week, an Eagles or NFL work week of any shape, when you have a Thursday. And they try to balance it out Thursday to Sunday nights and different things, but invariably you're going to have a wonky week.
Yeah, and I bring this up before. I have a friend that's been a season ticket holder for 30 years. There's a lot of games he can't make. 3 Monday night games at home. Okay, can't make them. They have a home game in Brazil. Can't make that. 8 o'clock game on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
That's
Thursday
a little
night.
iffy. Thursday nights. It's kind of now. Yeah, I'm talking about a guy that doesn't have the same get up and go as a 20-year-old. But at the same time, it makes it harder.
It does.
I wish the NFL would get together and realize, oh my God, we only gave the Eagles 2 1 o'clock games this year. 1 at home, 1 away. That's not right. I think
that was
needs
a little
to be more
much.
balanced.
That was
right?
a little much because it does become a hard thing. Like sometimes when we would get tickets, it would be people had to sell them to other Eagles fans, albeit, but it's because they work commitments or life commitments, and it's 8 o'clock on a Thursday, 8:30 p.m. on a Sunday. It's like, oh, that's late. They have stuff to do the next day. They can't be down in South Philly until midnight.
Yeah. All right, when we get back, we're going to just end the show, pick up a little bit of everything that we've put down today. Biscuit, hang with us. We'll get to you as soon as we get back. Amy Fadul's going to be with us all the way until 2 o'clock today. I'm Bob Cooney. This is Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back as we get towards the end of the show. Now, Tyrone brought up a name for our legendary status, and that is Matt Stairs. Philadelphia Phillies hits one into the night against the Dodgers in the NLCS.
Is he legend, or is that moment that home run legend?
Is the home run also more legendary because of the call?
Deep into the night is a classic call.
I mean, Joe Buck nailed it.
Well,
great baseball announcer.
That moment, I mean, that pretty much puts you on the path to going to the World Series.
Yeah,
it does.
No, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Legendary moment. I don't think it makes Matt Stairs a legend in this town. It makes him memorable in this town, maybe.
I just don't want to downplay the moment for the call.
No. I agree.
The moment was tremendous. But there's been a lot of moments. And then that brought up the Bedlam at the Bank, to me, is a legendary moment. And you said Bryce is on his way to being, because he's a red light player.
He could be on his way to being a legend.
Because he's a red light player.
They got to win one of those, at
gotta
least
win a
one
ring.
of those World Series things.
Got to win a ring.
But, yeah. Biscuit, the bus driver, is on the line with us. What's up, Biscuit?
What's going on, brother? How you?
I'm doing good. How about you, buddy?
Hey, man, I am so excited. I can't wait till Wednesday when the schedule comes out, because I want to go to L.A. I want to do a road game. But listen, I was so happy to meet you at the Sixers game, but I was talking to a guy at the bar, and his name was Karate Mike or Mark.
Karate Mark. He's a good friend of the show, yes.
Oh, my God. I could have talked to him for days. Him and his wife were so nice. He's sitting here talking to my sister, but I just want to give him a shout-out. Whenever he's in town or whatever, we can hook up and tailgate at an Eagles game or whatever.
Oh, Biscuit, you are the man. It was as great meeting you and your sister for me as it was for you meeting Karate Mark.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was awesome. You're the best, Biscuit. We appreciate you. Take care. Now, Biscuit's talking about taking trips. We were talking during the break about, Ray wants to take the show to New Orleans when the Eagles play down there. You made a face. You got all shaky. No, you did. You didn't see yourself. You did. And I said, wait, did something happen in New Orleans, Amy?
I said I need a return trip to kind of remedy myself. We had a wonderful, I think it was 4 days we were down in New Orleans. This was a number of years. It was actually 11 years ago, so it's been a hot minute. And they were honoring my future mother-in-law at the time. Maybe we had just got married, so it would have been my mother-in-law. It doesn't matter. The great Deirdre Kane at Westchester University. She had wrapped up, I think, her 25th season as the head coach. She's the winningest coach in Westchester basketball history, men or women.
Right.
And they were honoring her. And for people that don't know, the men's and the women's Final Fours, those are also like coaching conventions. So coaches from all divisions.
Everywhere.
Just descend on it. And it's really great. So they were honoring her. So she had all these players coming back. Everybody converged on New Orleans, which is a wonderful town. And I had a bit of a spill. And I broke part of it's the coracoid bone in my collarbone.
Oh. Did somebody trip you? Or?
No. I was wearing a flip-flop on cobblestones.
Oh.
Yes.
Does that usually remedy a broken shoulder for the normal person? I don't understand.
First of all, I am a little klutzy. But no, I may have had, a hurricane.
Eh?
It was early-ish, so maybe 2.
So you're the second person.
It is very rare for me, by the way.
To fall down.
Yes, I don't usually fall down.
Usually she's sitting when she's bombed.
What I do is I talk a lot, shockingly, but I think I was like turning around trying to talk to somebody, and I'm wearing flip-flops, and if you've never been, it's very cobblestone. We were staying in the Garden District, and we were walking to where Bourbon Street was, so you had to walk through quite a bit, and I think I was just not clearly paying attention.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't.
We'll go with that. I'm backing you up. I don't know what you're getting on.
Yeah.
It's weird. I played golf with a friend of mine last week. And he shows up, say hi to him, like, yo, dude, what happened to your head? Yeah, 7 stitches. Oh, what happened? Was at a party for the Kentucky Derby, and then when got home was climbing up the stairs and might have missed one or 2.
Oh.
I said, oh, okay. Is this what you people do when you have drinks? You fall down?
Not me.
No?
Don't you say you people. Who are you calling you people?
You just said a hurricane might have been involved. You offered that up.
It was a long 4 days. It was it was on the second to last day, so I had to fly home, and that was a little. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel great. But very nice doctors. They were there, and I had a very nice doctor here, and I got some PT. It was just they said it was a freak injury. Like I couldn't have fallen anywhere weirder for it to break, because it's this tiny little bone inside underneath your
that is weird.
Collarbone, your clavicle.
Wow. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was, like I said, it wasn't 8 a.m., but it wasn't 2 a.m.
Okay.
Point being, we're going back to New Orleans.
I need to.
Yeah, that's Ray's thing. Are you going to propose this to the bosses, or how do we do this, Ray? Or are we doing it right now?
I mean, literally, I just recorded the update. Yeah, I'm going. So I'll be there in New Orleans.
Is there a preferred time to fly down to New Orleans?
Whatever gets me in there in time for Friday evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You do love New Orleans. Ray went there this year. I gave him a place to go to, and he went Acme Oyster House. He was there right away.
Yep.
And got his oysters and had some
is
fun.
A great trip.
Yes, that is a good trip for
So
you, and it's right there. Yeah, it is right there.
Yeah.
All right, listen, want to thank you all for joining us today, Amy. You especially,
thank you.
I would say, be careful walking out today. I don't know what kind of shoes you have on or whatever. But we'll be back at you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Amy will be with us. Stay tuned now. You got the best show ever coming up with Ricky and Tyrone.